You're listening to the Overcast. Sunshine on a cloudy day. Part of the Oversoul Gaming channel. Hello there, everyone, and welcome to the Overcast, your joke-making, fun-having pop culture podcast. I am your host, Justin, aka Oversoul.
And I am your co-host, Nick, aka the Vaping Fiend.
Yes, that he is. Last time I checked, anyway.
Yes.
And like always, we are bringing you sunshine on a what?
Cloudy day?
Yes. It has been cloudy and rainy lately, but also bright and sunny. Quite a mixture of the two, leading to some gross humidity. But
there was a tornado that formed in Omaha, Nebraska yesterday.
Well,
and that made its way over to Iowa.
Oh.
Where Sarah's staying.
I was about to say, I don't live in Nebraska, so I don't, but that second part's important.
It sure is. Thankfully, she's okay. There was a town that got hit really bad in Iowa last night.
Oh.
Yeah, there was like several homes damaged and whatnot. Lots of debris.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I think we brought our normal. Oh God. Okay. You're gonna understand in a second why I'm laughing. I'm gonna have to compose myself in order to explain it. Okay. So, anyways, I love how I start the show off on jokes and fun and sunshine, and then you're like, a tornado devastated a small town in Iowa recently. Oh my God. Yes, can't have the good without the bad, apparently.
Right, exactly. Gotta have a happy medium.
Okay. Yes. Speaking of happy mediums, did you see or hear that the Red Hulk got leaked in Happy Meals?
Huh?
Woohoo, Jiminy Christmas. So anyways, the next Captain America movie is called Brave New World, featuring Falcon as the new Captain America, and Harrison Ford will be in it as Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross.
Okay.
Who has been a character in previous MCU movies, but the former actor has passed away. Word has it that Thunderbolt Ross will become the Red Hulk in this movie, which means that we may be seeing the return of Mark Ruffalo's Hulk for the first time since She-Hulk.
Wait, does that mean that they're doing Captain America toys at McDonald's and Red Hulk is one of the toys?
Yes. That's
a fucking spoiler.
Yes.
Fucking McDonald's. I swear. Leave it to them.
Yes, they are or will be. It was leaked, is what happened.
Gotcha. Okay. That's why they called it Leaky Happy Meals.
Yes, I think this was planned to be toys released around the same time as the movie, and it got leaked. Somebody on the inside leaked it.
Damn, that's shitty.
Yeah.
That's really shitty.
Yes, a bunch of Tom Hollands working for McDonald's. Anyways, speaking of Marvel, did you saw the Deadpool 3 trailer? Yes.
Oh, yes, I did.
So,
oh my God.
That's exciting because there's so much to unpack in that trailer, but the big thing for me was that there was a giant Ant-Man helmet with a skull inside. And I think we maybe saw possibly kind of sort of potentially but not really, but maybe sort of saw Doctor Doom in that trailer a little bit.
Yes. We also got to see Wolverine in action for the first time on screen. Hugh Jackman reprising his role. This is going to be an amazing movie. I have nothing but high hopes for this one.
Yes, and a direct homage to his introduction scene in the first X-Men movie too, the bar scene.
Yes.
Also, the bald girl that you see a lot in the trailer, the villain, that's Cassandra Nova, who is Charles Xavier's sister in the comics.
Okay.
Yes, I think there was one timeline where she actually like consumed him in the womb or some shit like that.
Jesus.
But she has similar powers to him, telekinetic and what have you. So that's why there's a part in a trailer where it looks like she's like using like controlling Wolverine like a puppet, waving her fingers around.
Right.
Yeah, so it's that kind of thing. Also, I think in this trailer we saw at one point Deadpool use Doctor Ring, Doctor Strange's sling ring to open a portal that
Yes.
him and Wolverine jump through.
I saw that.
Yeah,
That was
so
fucking awesome.
the trailer did a really good job at showing you just enough, but not too much, and I like that.
Exactly.
The golden rule of show don't tell. Don't spoil too much. Anyways,
Yep.
so yeah, so that was all good. But besides that, though, been the first time I opened on some small talk newsy stuff. But
Yeah.
let's hear how things have been going in your personal life these past couple weeks.
Well, I recently watched a movie.
That is what
And
what one
I'm
tends to
giving
do with movies.
I'm not giving this a media corner entry because it has already gotten a media corner entry. I'm giving my feedback on this. I love this. It was Late Night with the Devil. Holy shit. That was a good fucking movie. Holy shit. Like,
Yes.
man, dude, I picked it up for $15 on Apple TV. It just came out, and I'm like, okay, this just dropped today on Apple TV, and it's $15. I'm going to jump on this before that price hikes, because if this is as good as he's saying it is, this definitely has rewatchability, and it sure as fuck does. I definitely intend on watching it more than once.
Yeah, I need to watch it again just to be able to catch all of the, there's hidden ghosts in that movie apparently, the ghost of his wife
I've heard that.
wife.
Yeah.
Mhm. So, uh I definitely intend on rewatching it, but man, that was a great theatrical experience and I'm glad you
Oh my
enjoyed it.
god. Oh my gosh, dude. This movie was next level.
I am
Like
thinking
I see what you mean when you say you can't say too much without spoiling anything, because it's extremely hard not to.
yes. I think I did it a lot of justice without going too far in my review. I think that was I think I much like the Deadpool 3 trailer, it gave you just enough but not too much. you know.
I want to do a bonus episode on this movie.
I agree. I think we should.
I need to watch it at least 2 more times before we can do that.
Yeah. I don't think my score is going to change at all, but we shall see on subsequent viewings.
Yes.
Uh okay. What else?
Uh
How are non-media related things?
Non-media related things. Well, same old, same old. My daughter's doing really good in school. Or she's actually doing really good with her math, which I'm proud of her, because she definitely don't get that from me.
Yeah.
Because numbers make my yeah, wow, words are hard. Numbers make my head hurt.
He said, numbers hurt my head and words hurt my tongue.
That.
So a young Sheldina. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe. Yeah. I played a little bit more of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh, do tell, because, I'm a madman who decided I needed to replay Rebirth for some reason.
Okay. Um
But like, where are you in remake? Because we're far enough along now that you can safely talk about that one. Everyone's in the sequel now, so.
okay. So I'm stuck.
Oh, really?
Yes. I got past the Hell House and as and then I got to see Cloud dress in drag. That was fun. Um
So how about
it
that?
was that,
How about that Honeybee Inn dance
oh
scene
my god.
with the quick time
They
event?
couldn't have been any more obvious. That was it was so over sexualized and it had no need, there was no reason for it, but okay, I understand they want to try and maintain the goofiness of it being an anime. I understand that.
That and a lot
I'm
of
not
that a lot of that goofiness was in the original. It's just not as obvious
right.
because of
Yeah.
the limitations of the hardware. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, they definitely modernized it a bit. Aerith seemed to enjoy it though. Um, I actually think that's one of the most fun parts in the game because it's very like just let loose and enjoy yourself. Don't think about it too much,
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of thing. But also I'm a sucker for quick time events, so I can't.
Fair.
And I weirdly like the terrible club music that plays during that scene.
Yes.
But but it
Okay.
is it is it is odd. You'll be happy to know that there is another section like that in Rebirth, but instead of that, it's a parade that you partake of.
Okay.
But it's the same thing with the flying around. Those quick time events do get kind of hard when they like zoom in real close and shit, and you don't know when it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Like you really got to look for the ring that goes down because
That was mm-hmm.
you
That
cannot
was it
rely on
was
that flying orb because it will
no.
mislead you.
Sure the fuck will. And it sure did. Um
So
but I
you did the
for
contest, you beat the Hell House, you got the dress and all that. So you've gone up to the
yeah.
mansion.
Yes, I have. I um I'm
Um,
stuck
you
on the air pressure pump
air
mini
pressure
game
pump. Okay.
where you have to lift the lever with Aerith and
Mm-hmm.
Tifa has to pump.
Oh yeah,
I'm
I
doing what
remember
I'm
that one being
supposed
a
to do.
little. I remember that one being a little tedious.
It's extremely tedious. Like I went as far as looking up a video on fucking YouTube and I'm doing what the guy is saying to do, but it's not getting me anywhere.
I can't remember specifically what it is you have to do there.
Man.
I know you're just like supposed to like push the lever at the right moment or something, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's like I think you're supposed to wait until you're in the needle gets to the red
Yeah.
and then start pumping.
Oh, you do. Okay, I do remember that, but also I also distinctly remember that the more you fail at it, the easier it gets because the red zone gets consistently bigger and bigger until it's impossible to miss.
That's the thing. Even with the red zone being so big, it still wouldn't go for me. I'm fucking frustrated. I'm at the point to I mean I didn't rage quit or anything, but I fucking almost did.
Do you just have really bad timing or something? Like, because
It's
at that,
gotta be.
I mean, if you got past the one in what was it, chapter 5 or whatever, where you had to press all the buttons at the same time with Tifa and Barrett,
Yeah.
it's basically the same thing.
Okay.
Just timing.
Yeah.
But don't forget, folks, if you're ever struggling in a game on the PlayStation, for those who have PlayStation Plus, you can use the Share Play feature and let someone else take control of your game through the internet for up to an hour to help you get past
You
those parts
know,
you're struggling on.
we might just have to fucking do that because it's not if for me it's not doing it for it ain't doing it for me.
Well, you know what they say. If the same method over and over again doesn't work, try a different method.
That's yeah, you're not
it
wrong. It's
and you
definition of insanity. You go in with do it like with the wow, words are hard.
I could only assume you're
um
you're you're pressing the button at the same time every time. You gotta maybe like just change when you press the button.
yeah.
As
So
simple as
basically,
that.
what I'm doing is the definition of insanity. I do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome.
Outside of that, though, how did you like that whole weird ass red light district section of the game? Wall Market.
It was, I liked it. It was interesting.
Yeah, they definitely didn't hold back too much there. That's for sure.
No, they sure the fuck did not.
But that is also like Cloud cross dressing to go undercover to save Tifa
Yep.
from the Dawn is
I,
part of the original game too. So
I can already tell Tifa and Aerith are basically fighting for Cloud's attention.
yeah, and Aerith mostly in part because of him reminding her of Zack more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, uh, in a lot of with that definitely gets doubled down on pretty hard in Rebirth. So
Okay. I
yeah,
believe it.
yeah. So there's a lot to look forward there. I will tell
I
you.
just,
I
I
will tell you
wasn't,
this much. There will be a couple of. I don't remember any moments in Rebirth where you have to do perfectly timed button presses in order to advance the story at all.
mm-hmm.
But because most of the mini games that are forced on you as part of the story in that game, you're allowed to fail,
Mm-hmm.
um, and still move forward. It just you just got to deal with the consequences of it.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of moments in Rebirth where there you might deal with some uh, what I would call not hard puzzles. It's frustrating mechanics. There is just like a section, for example, where you have to like throw boxes at switches in order to open doors, and it's the
Mm-hmm.
simplest thing. It's the simplest thing in the world to figure out what to do, but
Uh-huh.
actually doing it is with the way the controls are is sometimes a little bit of a nightmare. The aiming is really weird. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's more dealing with bad game mechanics in that one rather than tedious puzzles, because most of the tedious shit
Gotcha.
can either be completely skipped or intentionally failed. So,
Gotcha.
um,
Okay. Sarah and I started a Harry Potter marathon.
oh, okay,
Yeah, like this past Sunday we watched Chamber of Secrets and last night we watched wait, no, wow. Chamber of Secrets is the second one. We watched Chamber of Secrets last night. We watched
yes,
the Sorcerer's Stone on Sunday. But we're aiming for a Harry Potter movie every Friday night.
okay,
Yeah. And in turn, I know I said it would take me a while to want to get back into it, but I'm doing another playthrough of Hogwarts Legacy, this time on my Switch.
Oh, okay.
And I decided to be sorted into the Hufflepuff house this time because I want to do that mission in I think they said that the exclusive mission for the Hufflepuff house is a mission. You get to do a mission at Azkaban.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I do remember you saying there were exclusive missions to each house.
Yep. Oh, and
Okay.
apparently the PlayStation exclusive mission is going to be coming to Xbox and Nintendo Switch later this year.
Okay. So timed exclusive content then. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, alrighty, Rooney then. Um,
Yeah.
besides all that, how's work? I guess. Yeah.
Work's been work. It's been busy. It's been steady. It's been regular. It's work is work.
Makes sense to me. Alright then. Well, as for me, new work has been new work, and
There you go.
I've I've been told that I'm doing quite well so far, and
Good.
picked up on it rather quickly. I yeah, the thing about jobs like this is that you can have like a really busy couple of hours and then be completely dead for several hours after that. And when that happens,
Uh-huh.
because of labor costs and blah 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 and all that, they often usually have to send someone home.
Oh
Uh,
no, that was like that shit like that all the time when I was working at Taco Bell. I hated that shit.
yeah. So I've had that happen a couple of times, but not every time. You know. Um,
See, it would always happen to me when I would work like earlier in the day and
yeah,
there wasn't any orders coming in, so they had to send me home.
yeah, but
When I was working overnights at Taco Bell, um there was a several times where we were just dead.
Taco Bell was wild, man. I uh
Taco Bell was fun to work at. I'm gonna be
yeah,
honest, the only reason I got the job there or I even applied there is to get free Taco Bell.
yeah. Unfortunately, where I work, no
And then I'm
free.
like, okay, I need to actually pay my bills, and this is not cutting it.
Fair enough. Yeah, I Unfortunately, where I work, there's no free meals, but I do get 50% off.
Oh, there you go.
So there's that. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, new job is going well.
Good.
Old job, even though not give hours, technically me still work there.
Oh, oh.
Not know why talk like caveman, but
I was just gonna say, when did we start talking like cavemen?
um but oh shit.
Oh
Oh
no.
god. Anyways, uh but like conflicting schedules, so I haven't really been able to get any hours at the other one, but they did say they have a
Right.
big construction project coming up on the 6th, and that they need people to come in super early to help move stuff around and all that, so I may be able to do that, get a little extra
Okay. There you
on
go.
this on the side. But yeah, my new job, they don't post next week's schedule till like the last day, like the day before. you know
Jesus, that's no notice.
so like, I mean, I'm sure it gets posted on. It's supposed to be posted like on Thursday or Friday because it goes Monday through Sunday. But
Right.
like, I'm it. My last day working was yesterday, and it wasn't up then, so
Okay.
I'm assuming it went up today, but I was off today, so I won't see it till tomorrow.
Right.
But you put in your, you know, if you need time off, you put in a request in a folder. They get it like
Okay.
weeks in advance.
Right.
So they know to put it in. But anyways, but that is going pretty well for the most part. I can't complain too much.
Right.
Yeah, it's not too shabby. Not too shabby. Outside of that, not really a whole lot going on. Sky and I still did some we got online and finished Resident Evil 5 like we did the
Nice.
DLC the other day.
Very
Um
nice.
and then I think we're going to move on to 6 next time, but we're talking about maybe trying to platinum Resident Evil 5. Um
Nice.
if she can get the infinite rocket launcher to make it easier. uh
Okay.
so yeah. Um and not really not really a whole lot else going on. The new job hasn't really made for a lot of time to really do much else besides
Fair enough.
doing that and working on my YouTube stuff. So I started, against my better judgment, playing the Suicide Squad game because I, just had to see
Oh,
for myself how bad it is. And like, I am not hating it as much as I was expecting to so far, but it definitely has a lot of problems. It's
gotcha.
the story is pretty good, and that's what keeps me going. But God, the gameplay is so uninspired. um, I mean, there's certain parts of it that are good, like the traversal. Each character has unique traversal mechanics, and Captain
uh,
Boomerang having a Speed Force gauntlet is cool.
is
But
Peacemaker in that game?
no, no, no,
Oh,
not that I know of. This is more of the early Task Force X game.
gotcha. Okay.
Crew. It's Harley Quinn, King Shark, Captain Boomerang, and Deadshot.
Okay.
Um, and it's in the same universe as the Batman Arkham games. It's like a
That's what you were saying. Yeah.
direct continuation. Yeah. So,
Picks right
and
up where Arkham Knight left off.
like 10 years later, but yeah,
Okay. Gotcha.
more or less. And there's like a big exposition dump for the Batman Arkham games in the form of a Batman museum that you go through uh
Okay.
early in the game as Batman is picking you off one by one in some kind of like it's almost a horror game at that point. Is you're like creeping around in the darkness with a flashlight being hunted by the Dark Knight himself, you know.
Weren't
And
you
he
saying something like that in the last episode that we recorded?
Yeah, yeah, my idea for a full-fledged multiplayer game of that nature was born from the only real good part of this game.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually a good part of the game, but then it takes a nosedive in quality after a while. Like I said,
Gotcha.
the story is good, but it's the gameplay is just the same repetitive, tedious, like multiplayer focused gameplay loop of like defend this spot while the timer counts down, kind of
Hmm.
shit, and run to these spots and save these people and bring them back to the base, kind of thing. And after the 17th time of doing that, it gets really boring.
Oh,
So
I believe it.
plus you're fighting the same generic purple bullet sponge aliens throughout the with like varying differences. They're basically the same aliens with different weapons, and the weapons that you get are like it's loot based, so like Fortnite, gold and blue and all that, but
Yeah.
it's they're all the most of the weapons are so interchangeable between, like, the only reason to play as any of the characters, like, the game itself realizes that there's no difference between each character you play as besides their traversal moves. They can all use the same guns for the most part. They play more or less the same. So
Hmm.
certain missions will have one character more psyched up than the others, and so it's recommended you play as that one during those missions because they'll get more experience points and shit. um
Okay.
but that's the only reason. But the story is all about the Justice League being possessed by Brainiac, and the Suicide Squad is being tasked by Amanda Waller to kill them.
Okay.
With the help of Wonder Woman, because she believes they can't be saved, they can't be unbrainwashed, and
Okay.
I'll put it to you this way: Brainiac's influence is so strong in this game that Batman is killing people.
Jesus.
Like, there's a scene where this cop comes running out with a batarang sticking out of her neck and then falls over and dies before you're
God
introduced
damn.
to the possessed Dark Knight. Yeah.
God damn.
Yep.
Okay.
It is rated M. Um,
That's fair.
I don't know if I could wholeheartedly recommend playing it. I mean, you might actually enjoy it, to be honest, but you might find some parts really hard too. The game is designed around multiplayer, so much like Borderlands, playing it by yourself, even on easy, can sometimes cause you to get overwhelmed by enemies. But you do get
Yeah.
two free revives every round. Your AI partners actually are okay in this game, you know.
Okay. Well, that's good
Um,
at least.
but there's also like movie versions of the game on YouTube where people just edited all the cutscenes into a movie that you could watch too if you wanted,
Okay.
which is the route I recommend because the story is good.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
But I can tell that like the game isn't so bad in the beginning, but like it loses its novelty super quick when you realize the gameplay loop is going to be very repetitive and grindy once you get into
Mhm.
the proper open world, you know. Very cinematic introduction, but then kind of takes a huge nosedive once the actual gameplay kicks in.
Yeah.
So, and I can tell I haven't even gone after my first like real boss yet, and I can already tell that this is going to I'm going to get very bored with the gameplay by the end of it because I've got like 4 or 5 superheroes to kill, and I haven't even killed one of them yet. So last thing I did was revive Poison Ivy, who died in Arkham Knight, and she's like a completely different person. So
Okay.
yeah. Oh, and the Riddler is back with his dumbass like, do my riddles and find my Riddler trophies, just like the Arkham games. And I'm like, you know what? I no, not this time, buddy. I didn't.
Right.
Not this time. Oh, you're in Metropolis, by the way, not Gotham in this game. Metropolis from Superman. So,
Okay.
yeah, after faking his death at the end of Arkham Knight, Bruce Wayne went around using Scarecrow toxin to be the Demon Bat um, for 5 years. And then eventually the Justice League contacted him and asked him to join them and go public again and reveal that he wasn't actually dead. Because in Arkham Knight, Scarecrow revealed his identity to the public. So after wrapping up loose ends, he, blows up Wayne Manor and fakes his own death, then continues being a vigilante as the Demon Bat.
Mhm.
Um, and he uses that same Scarecrow toxin in this game during the boss battle with him, which is kind of disappointing because the part where you're sneaking around in the dark and he's taking you out one by one with jump scares and smoke grenades and shit is really cool and awesome. But then you get to the actual boss battle with him, and then it's just a generic shoot at the giant monster face bullshit. So,
Yeah.
you know, kind of a. And the way that Batman goes out in this game is very unceremonious and kind of a middle finger to the Arkham franchise. I mean, it's called Kill the Justice League. You have to expect them to die, but like
Yeah.
the way that he goes out is super anticlimactic, and I think deserved more. But anyways, though, I didn't mean to get into a review of that game because I'm not far enough in it to actually review it, but I can tell you that I'm so split on it that if I had to give it a score now, it'd be like a 5 out of 10.
Right.
Like right down the middle. Which is technically better than Gollum, but still not good.
Right.
I mean, if that's your bar, then you're not doing well. But, oh, it's unfortunate. But yeah, I don't really have much else going on in my personal life. That's just what I've been doing. But
Fair enough.
the other things I've been doing lately, I am going to talk about in our next section of the show, which is the media corner. Uh
Yes.
let's speed on over that way.
This is not a place of battle, so I will begin my quest. Come, Weed.
Well, most people think I'm a joke.
I do not make jokes. I make warriors.
Let's go get him.
Extra, extra, read all about it, everyone. Here we are at the Media Corner, the part of the show reserved for news, reviews, and recommendations, although sometimes we sneak a few things into the life updates.
Yes.
But not official, not official. These are the official segments. Those are talking points. That's small talk. These are official reviews and recommends. And,
yes. And I have a piece of news today.
Oh, you do you? I'm to understand,
do.
You have 3 things and I have 2, so for the sake of balance, I should let you go first.
Alrighty. So I think I'm going to start off with Barmageddon. Barmageddon, dude, it's a fun game show. So it's hosted it's held at this bar in Nashville, Tennessee, owned by country superstar Blake Shelton.
Mm-hmm.
And we got, let's see, Carson Daly is a host. We got former WWE superstar Nikki Bella as a host. And there's a bunch of different like celebrity appearances. Like the first episode was Blake Shelton versus country superstar Kane Brown. Gwen Stefani, Blake Shelton's wife, was on. I think that was episode 2, and she went up against country superstar Sheryl Crow.
Okay.
But it's really cool. Jay Farrow has been on this. Ice-T, NASCAR racer Jimmy Johnson, Michelle Rodriguez, David Arquette, Rob Riggle, Kelly Clarkson, Gabriel Iglesias has been on this show.
Okay. A real real rogues gallery there for sure.
So basically, what it is it follows Blake Shelton and Carson Daly as they open the doors at the Old Red Bar. Celebrity friends go against each other in a series of bar games. One of my favorite ones to see them do is it's I forget the name of the game, but the name of the game has the word cornhole in it.
Okay, well
you're basically
everyone knows what that is.
Say what?
Everyone knows what that is.
So basically, what you're doing is you're shooting air. It's called air cannon cornhole.
Okay.
So basically, you're shooting what looks like ears of corn out of an air cannon that looks like an actual ear of corn, and it's in the style of, I would say, skee ball. You have to try to get the or even I'll do you one better. Almost in the style of beanbag toss. Like you're trying to get the ear of corn into the hole.
So this is gonna blow your mind, but that beanbag toss game that you are comparing it to, you know what the name of that game is?
Huh.
Cornhole.
God damn it. I'm kicking myself now.
There you go. So yeah, it's definitely, yeah. So it sounds like this show takes your average drinking games and then like turns them up to 11 with extra wacky nonsense.
So I'm glad you said that, because one of the other games that they did is like overly gigantic red Solo cups, basically
Yep.
gigantic fucking beer pong,
Yep.
and you gotta try and get
With like
the
beach balls or some shit.
no, not no yes, beach balls for the gigantic ones. But there was another one that ended up, it was something to do with ping pong balls.
Oh yeah, I mean ping pong
That was
balls
a
are part
smaller
of beer
one,
pong.
but they were with the gigantic ones. They had this giant arm that was dressed in flannel, and that was supposed to represent Blake Shelton's arm blocking the balls.
Oh,
And he makes a sex pun about it too. It's actually kind of funny.
of course.
I've been blocking balls for years. There's some shit like that.
Do they have flip cup?
I no, they do not. I haven't, or at least I haven't seen it yet.
You know, if they don't get the
He does
cast
take
of
a couple. He does in the trailer. I saw that he does take a stab at Adam Levine, no, or Adam Levine from Maroon 5, from when he was a judge on the our coach, a voice coach on The Voice.
right, yeah. I remember they had a friendly rivalry or whatever for a while.
Yeah.
Um,
No, he definitely throws some shade at Adam Levine, and if I'm not mistaken, I'd like to see Adam Levine on this show because I think that it would be a fun like callback to their days on The Voice, and it would be Blake Shelton versus Adam Levine. The ping pong one, I just remembered it was a the ping pong one. Basically, you had this giant ping pong paddle, and every time the giant paddle, you start out with a solid giant ping pong paddle, and then the next round the ping pong paddle has holes in it, and then the third round there's one giant hole in the ping pong paddle, so it makes things a little difficult.
yep, yep. Your typical drinking games turned up to
Yep.
11 with wacky nonsense. Yeah,
Pretty fucking
that's
much.
pretty
It's
much
so much. It's a fun.
Yeah.
And if they have this thing called the Wheel of Redemption,
Okay.
and if you lose a round, there's only three turns. There's only three spots on the wheel. Well, technically four, because you got whatever wacky concoction is that has the bigger spaces, and then you got a small sliver of hope. If you get that small sliver of hope, you don't have to do any of the concoctions, and you automatically get the point. If you land on one of the nasty concoctions, you have to either A, take the concoction and get the point, or take the L.
Okay. I guess I should specify, by the way, this does sound more like. So, not so much drinking games as games that people play while drinking, and there is a difference.
Yeah.
I would say. Because drinking games are.
Oh no, there's
are
definitely drinking involved on this show.
Yeah, but drinking games themselves, like the way that they are intended to get you more drunk as you're playing it, because drinking.
Oh no, absolutely,
Is
and that's
part
what
of
makes
the
it
rule.
more fun.
But shit like ping pong, for example, is stuff that people play after they've been drinking. You know,
Yes,
like college kids. You know, do that a lot. So, like ping pong itself is not a drinking game; it's a sport, but it's a game people play while drinking a lot. But you can turn it into a drinking game by, take a shot every time you lose a point or whatever kind of thing.
So the premise of why the games are even being played in the first place. So basically, they take two normal Joe Schmoes who have had a viral fail. And they
Oh,
play
okay.
their viral fail video before the show starts. And basically, this is about redeeming the viral fails.
So the Tosh.0 redemption skits turned into a game show.
Pretty fucking much, yeah.
With alcohol.
Uh-huh.
What an interesting concept.
It is. It's a fun show.
All right, so I'm guessing this is a recommend because you can't really review a game show. What are you supposed to say? Oh, they threw the ball in the cup. Like, ooh, they threw the ball in the cup. 10 out of 10. Fuck out of here. You can't there's nothing there to review.
It's definitely I highly recommend it. It's a fun one.
Well, that's good. Good to know.
And you can stream this on Peacock.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little something for everybody everywhere. So that's a recommendation for Barmageddon on Peacock. All right.
Yes.
Well, the most recent thing in my mind, I actually binge watched today, and it just hit Paramount Plus yesterday, and that is the streaming series Knuckles, which is
I have some feedback on this.
Which is a direct continuation of the Sonic movies.
Yes.
I binge watched all 6 episodes today.
Yeah.
And my overall thoughts are that I think the show starts off pretty strong. But then around episode 4, it starts to take a really goofy nosedive, and then it just kind of plateaus and kind of ends on a mediocre spark for the most part. It falls into I don't know, heavy cliche territory near the end.
Yeah. Would you say that this based on the ending of the 6th episode, do you think this would be the setup for Sonic the Hedgehog 3?
Nah, that already got set up in the post-credit scene of Sonic 2.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. Okay, because we already know Shadow.
But it is interesting that the villains this time in this show are Gun, because Gun are the villains in Sonic Adventure, which Sonic 3 is going to be based on.
Okay.
Because they're like a government agent that goes after like extraterrestrial and superpowered beings, and Sonic 3, with Shadow being in it, is going to be heavily based on Sonic Adventure 2 and Shadow the Hedgehog, those games. It's
okay.
And Gun
I'm excited to hear Keanu Reeves as Shadow.
Me too. And Gun played a pretty huge role in both of those games, if I remember correctly. As like the government agency. So I think they're actually responsible for the birth of Shadow in the first place. Like, I think
shit.
I think Shadow, if I remember correctly, my Sonic lore is a bit rusty, and it's that franchise is all over the place.
Sonic for hire.
But believe it or not, there is a canonical Sonic the Hedgehog timeline, like starting with the very first Sega Genesis game, leading all the way up to
I believe it.
All the way up to Sonic Frontiers, there is an actual cohesive canonical story. And part of that was, I think Shadow was created to be the anti-Sonic. Like, I think he was created as a weapon to go after him. So
that makes sense.
So I liked, Sonic and Tails being in the first episode, them dealing with that, and it was a fun idea of like Knuckles just like not being a fish out of water, not understanding our world, and like going on a road trip with the funny cop from the movies, sidekick guy Wade, for a bowling tournament. But then in the 4th episode, when they make Wade the center point and he has that like weird motorcycle duel with the bounty hunter and the spirit dream and all that, that was fucking
a little much.
Weird. Like,
dude, I had to laugh when
fever dream material.
I had to giggle when when they had contractors over at the house.
And I did like that.
Knuckles is like, your kid did that?
they're patching up the damage from the movie. I like that little bit of continuity. I thought that was cute. I thought that was like, oh, the hole's still in the wall from that fight they had in the last movies, and they haven't been able to fix it because Knuckles keeps scaring off all the construction workers. Yeah.
Yup.
I thought that was nice.
Your kid did that?
But man, the main dude from the movies, didn't see any of him in this.
No.
Maybe, he was just off busy doing cop stuff or whatever, but
Probably, yeah.
And for a show called Knuckles, I feel like this, like in the second half of this show, it focuses way too much on Wade. Like it definitely becomes the Wade show after episode 4, and Knuckles kind of like takes a back seat.
Knuck.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it felt that way to you or not too, but like Knuckles is center stage for the first half of the show, and then when Wade has his spirit journey, he becomes the new main character. It feels like.
Yeah, that was that. I mean, the name of the show is Knuckles, not Wade.
I was also expecting this to be more important to the overall like storyline of the movie.
I was hoping for the same, and it doesn't seem like it does.
Yeah, definitely not like an MCU TV show here. Definitely not super important at all.
This seems like a filler.
Filler content, yeah, definitely a filler.
Filler content, yeah.
Spin-off miniseries.
Yep. 6 episodes, I would say so, yeah.
I will say this though, I love Christopher Lloyd as the ghost Echidna.
Hell yeah.
He was great. He was like one of the best parts of that flashback part. I didn't mind the song and all. It was just so like weird and cringy, the performance art part of it that they did. And like I will say a lot of people's complaint about the second Sonic movie was that part in the middle of the movie where they get into a dance battle and like the pacing takes a huge halt, and then
I liked that part.
Other stuff
I thought
where
that
it
was
gets
cool.
really... Well, the point I'm trying to make here is that I feel like this show just doubled down on the parts that people didn't like about the movies. It went way too heavy on the goofy, and like the funniest parts of the movies are honestly Sonic's wit and his one-liners more than anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's just like Jace, like is that Ben Schwartz? Yeah, I think he just does such a good job. And like I don't know, a lot of the humor on this show was lost on me in comparison to the movies. Like it definitely felt like this was like the movies are more geared towards fans of the games, and it definitely feels that way a lot of the time, and it still manages to be family friendly, and that's why you have goofy shit like that dance battle. This show feels like it dumbed itself down to be appealing to kids primarily. In a lot of ways.
I would say so. My daughter enjoyed it. We watched it. We watched all 6 episodes today.
I'm not saying it wasn't entertaining, because it was, but I am saying
it definitely was.
That the first 3 episodes of the show are the best part of it, and then after episode 4 it goes downhill. And that is just how, like, yeah. It's like the opposite of Has Been Hotel.
And my mom was saying, that guy sounds like the doctor from Back to the Future. Yeah, Mom, that's Christopher Lloyd.
That is him, yes. The old wrinkly echidna is Christopher Lloyd.
Yes. The doctor from Back to the Future.
There was too much like this just wouldn't happen, like my suspension of disbelief has limits, and those limits end at a big bad bounty hunter like running away screaming because a guy cut off a lock of his hair, and a bunch of civilians
that would never happen in real life. No,
and then a bunch of civilians standing around.
That shit was
watching this shit happen, and then applauding it at the end and all that. Like, they're just like, where did all those people come from? I know there was the ones in the car, there was the kids on the bike, but by the time that confrontation is ended, there's like a whole crowd of people. There was even a mailman that set off the gun for it to begin. Like, what was this?
Right.
I don't know, just goofy shit like that breaks immersion for me. It completely takes me out of the story because it's so distractingly weird. And it's like it makes it hard to care about what's happening.
Right.
I can forgive that stuff if it makes sense within the context of the world, but even for this world with alien hedgehogs that run at the speed of light, that scene made no sense whatsoever. Not
It
even
was
in the
funny,
context of this world. It's
It
stupid.
was funny though.
I don't know. I don't think the show was as funny as either of the movies have been so far. Either overall.
I mean, yeah, the movie. I'm excited to see Jim Carrey come back as Dr. Robotnik. For the last movie or for the third movie.
I will
who
say
knows
this.
If this is going to be who knows if this is going to be the last one? They might do a fourth one.
I will say this though. When we met Wade's family, a lot of the comedy that happened there between Knuckles and his mom, I enjoyed that dynamic. I thought that was cool, especially when they're watching Pretty Woman and he is like. He was talking about why does everyone treat this streetwalker so badly, you know. And I just love how he like learns about things like Julia Roberts classics and music that are jams. The Pose parts I like, but like, yeah, not enough Knuckles for a show called Knuckles. Maybe it was a budget thing. Maybe it was just like they blew all their budget on the fight scenes, so they could only have so much CGI. You know,
yeah,
they're like all the scenes where it's only people that cost us less money. Every scene with Knuckles, that's like $1 million per frame,
right?
You know, and it's like this is a show, not a movie, so the budget's smaller. Blah blah blah. I get it, but it still feels lazy in the long run.
Yeah.
But yeah, the family. I liked his mom. His sister annoyed the shit out of me though. Like,
yeah,
she's a bit extra. And probably the most incompetent FBI agent I've ever met. So
yeah,
everyone's a bit incompetent in these, but like Robotnik can get away with it because he's Robotnik. He's supposed to be like a mad scientist, lunatic guy, you know.
Yep.
I will say though, the villain, the main villain in this one, just being a nameless former gun agent who has like the same robot building abilities as Robotnik, doesn't really scream major threat to me. In the same way, you know, he a completely forgettable villain for the most part,
right?
And also like cartoonishly evil, just like, you know, it's very very cliche. So, but I guess my overall rating for this would be a 7 out of 10. I think not bad enough to be a 6. Definitely not good enough to be an 8. But you know, it's just okay.
I give it a 7.5.
So just a notch higher, huh?
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It was a fun show.
I didn't even know until right now that you had actually seen this. So I was surprised it wasn't going to be one of your entries. But I'm glad because I definitely intended it to be one of mine. So.
Gotcha. All right.
And that's about all the more I can really say about that show, to be honest. Yeah, it was entertaining, it was fun, but also extremely stupid, and it takes just a huge...
Yeah.
It just takes a huge pivot. It just takes I don't know. It feels way more childish and cartoony than the movies do somehow. And that's saying a lot, considering Sonic's behavior in the first movie. You know?
Right.
So...
I don't know. Like I said, my daughter enjoyed it. So,
I think it's
something.
Wade. I think Wade is the problem. I don't think Knuckles is not the problem. The problem is there wasn't enough of him. It's Wade and his goofy ass that is mostly, you know, and all the shit surrounding
show is called
him.
Knuckles.
Yeah,
not Wade Whipple.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, Wade got his ass whippled quite a bit too, didn't he?
He sure the fuck did.
He thought he was doing well. Oh my god. Yeah. I still don't understand how him having a spirit dream let him like power leap out of that cage, and then he never does anything like that ever again the rest of the show. That is just completely useless. Like My CinemaSins brain kicked in super hard when I was watching this. I couldn't help it. Like I try to make sure that doesn't happen too often because I don't want it to. But this time I was on autopilot. So yeah,
That's funny.
that is unfortunate. Not a complete disappointment, but my God, it is just so fucking dumb by the end of it. So either way, though, yeah, that's it for that one. What else you got?
When a group of friends recklessly violates the sacred rule of tarot readings, they unknowingly unleash an unspeakable evil trapped within the cursed cards. One by one, they come face to face with fate and end up in a race against death. So, basically, from what I gathered, the way they are picked off one by one by death.
I guess we should probably mention you're talking about the trailer for Tarot.
Yes. So yeah, I am. So I am talking about the trailer for this movie called Tarot.
Yeah.
It is a horror movie, and it's coming out on May. This Friday. It's actually coming out on Friday. Comes out Friday.
There you go.
Yeah, I I want to see this one. It looks really good. So basically, the way everyone gets picked off one by one is the card that they were handed is basically this is basically a darker, more sinister version of Final Destination.
I would say more like 13 Ghosts, probably. With the each card bringing a different ghost, I'm guessing, to come after them.
Yeah.
I do like that aspect of it. I'm just so afraid with horror movies like this these days that it's just gonna be so generic. um and I just worry about that. I worry about it being very like cliche and by the numbers. Because when your bar is movies like Talk to Me and Late Night with the Devil, that's a lot to live up to.
Yeah.
And I like the the push for elevated horror recently. So any horror movie that's not by A24, I'm like immediately skeptical of now.
Uh-huh.
But
I was say Jacob Batalon is in this. Ned from the Spider-Man, the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies.
I am intrigued in this because I do like the premise, and I do think 13 Ghosts is kind of an underrated movie, even if some parts are bad.
Yeah.
I actually liked that movie. And
Sarah actually sent this to me. She was watching a video on YouTube, and she it came up, it popped up as an ad for her, and she thought of us and sent it to me.
Huh.
So I in turn sent it to you.
Yes, I just don't want this to be another Imaginary where the premise is actually very creative, but the execution is poor.
Right. You don't want it to be, for a lack of better terms, a smoldering garbage can.
Yeah. Yes. I see somebody watched reactions and highlights.
Say what?
I see somebody watched reactions and highlights.
I also listened to that episode too.
Yes.
And I remember you saying smoldering garbage can about Imaginary.
Yeah, I just it said Sony, and I didn't see any other company names in there, so I'm I thought, what did it say? Screen Gems? It might have said Screen Gems too.
No, this is a Sony film. I'm excited for it.
One of the reasons I worry that this might be kind of cliche is that they seem to be advertising it with the Death Tarot card, and I think that shows a complete lack of understanding of what that particular card actually means. and
Yeah.
makes me think that they aren't going to. If you're going to make a horror movie about tarot cards, you should probably understand tarot cards, and I don't think they do.
Yeah.
Because
No, absolutely.
the death card doesn't actually mean death. It's about a major change in your life, is what it is.
Yeah.
But this movie seems to be whatever tarot card you grab, the picture on that card is going to be how you die or whatever. And
pretty much.
Or like the creature that comes after you or whatever. And
I've been wanting to get my own deck of tarot cards. There's a deck of tarot cards on Amazon. It's a supernatural themed tarot cards.
Nice. I will say that I will say the design of the cards in this trailer looks good, but it definitely feels like, I mean, I do think it's a creative premise, but it definitely throws the whole idea behind tarot cards completely out the window, because like none of what they actually mean is going to mean anything in this movie. It's just going to be draw a card and the picture on it is going to matter more than what the card actually means. And that's going to be more. Yeah, that's not how tarot actually works, but, you know, I guess maybe it's a cursed tarot deck or something. You know?
That's exactly what it is. It's a cursed tarot deck.
You just got to put it in perspective.
And it's like an unwritten rule to never use someone else's cards.
Yeah.
And that's why.
Yeah, this is basically if Jumanji was played with a Ouija board, is what they're going for here.
Fucking much.
And
yeah, I would say so. Yeah, that's a good one. I would have never. Yeah, that's a good observation. Yeah,
I'm just gonna have to wait and see what the actual movie is like, but this is gonna be another one that I'm gonna go into with cautious optimism, because horror movies, more often than not, unless they have A24's name on them, tend to disappoint me these days. And
fair enough.
There was a huge decline in the quality of horror movies in the mid 2000, like the early 2010s and shit, and it wasn't until like stuff like Hereditary started popping up that it started, you know, being on the rise again.
I was say, did you see the movie Malignant?
Yes, that one is good. That one is really good.
That one was really fucking good.
Yep.
Was that one an A24?
It was not. It's one of the few. I think it was a Blumhouse one, but Blumhouse movies.
Blumhouse never disappoints either. They usually do really good.
That's not true. It's the actual opposite. Blumhouse is like Shyamalan. They either have good movies or bad movies with no in between, really. Like they're.
That's fair. Yeah.
Blumhouse did Imaginary, so.
The smoldering garbage can.
They are. Yeah, well, I guess I shouldn't say good and bad. M. Night Shyamalan is either good or bad. Blumhouse is like mostly mediocre crap with a few gems hidden in it.
Right.
For the most part.
M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong.
Yeah, Blumhouse movies are definitely by the numbers cliche horror movies. Like they are like all of them the plot is pretty much the same. You know, angry ghost gets revenge on family living in spooky house. The end. You know, I just I need a little more from them these days. Get a little more something extra to make it unique and stand out. That's why Late Night with the Devil was so good, because it hadn't been done before. It was a fresh idea,
right?
You know.
Yeah, no, that was that brought a lot to the table.
Yes. Yeah, it took ideas that already existed, like found footage and demon possession, and mixed it together into something new and creative.
Yeah.
You know, instead of just doing the same old Exorcist story or whatever. So
right.
Yeah, I thought that was good. But this movie, it looks mildly intriguing, and I am definitely looking forward to. You know, you'd be surprised sometimes. I hear Immaculate is really good too. A very recent horror
Immaculate?
movie. Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to look into it.
So. Okay. So. That is. I guess that was news.
Question.
I guess that was news.
Do you think you're gonna make a trip to the movie theaters to see this one?
I don't know. Maybe. If anything, just maybe to celebrate like my first check from the new job or something, just treat myself a little bit.
There you go.
It just depends on what else is out at the time too, though. You know.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But yeah, I might give it a go. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to watch it at some point. It's piqued my curiosity.
Yeah,
piqued my curiosity for sure.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll end up on Peacock or something.
Oh, it's a Sony movie, so it'll be on something.
On Stars.
On probably
Stars has their contract with Sony.
Yeah, something like that. So
it'll probably hit Stars first.
I think you can find some Sony movies on Max.
Yes, you can. So it might hit Stars. It might hit Max. I don't know. We'll find out.
You know what I'm going to call that? What we just did? I'm going to call that a preview. That is right here, right now, live on air. I'm adding a new section to the media corner. It's not just news, reviews, recommendations anymore. It's now news, reviews, previews, and recommendations. And
yeah,
that one was a preview, a pre-review based on the trailer. So,
yes.
So that's what we'll call that. Now,
yeah.
To be very clear, if I ever get to play with something that hasn't came out yet, like if I get like early access to a game or something like that, then we call that a hands-on preview, where you actually are kind of, your pre-review is from experience with it.
That makes sense.
But yeah. Okay, so preview for Tarot, the upcoming horror movie.
Yes. Coming out this Friday in theaters.
So that's May 1st, I think. Something like that.
May 3rd.
May 3rd, yep, I see. Okay.
Coming out May 3rd, this Friday. This upcoming Friday as of this recording. So
Right. All right, so my second and last thing for this episode is Media Corner is I'm going to recommend a YouTube channel. I haven't done that in a while. And
no, you really haven't. No.
This one is...
What you got for us?
This is a channel called J's Reviews, and it's just the letter J, apostrophe S, and then the word reviews. And this guy is... I came across his stuff completely by accident recently, but he is one of those retrospective review channels, and what that basically means is that he does reviews that are basically a look back at older things. Like he'll go back and look at, for example, Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank, Sonic the Hedgehog, older stuff, early Uncharted games. He goes through whole franchises, the Batman Arkham games. And these are retrospective reviews because he's reviewing the game, but he's reviewing a game that he's played 1,000,000 times years and years after it came out. So that's why it's also a retrospective, because it's a look back and kind of a deep dive into the game years later, seeing how you feel about it now,
Nice.
And they're really entertaining. I really like they're really well spoken, and he's very self-aware, and this is why I respect him, because I was watching his reviews for stuff like Ratchet and Clank and Sly Cooper, and he mentioned the fact that when he was younger, when he started, because he's only in his early 20s, and he started this channel when he was like 15, and he mentioned in his early YouTube days, he was a lot more edgy, and he was a lot more like mean and harsh with his reviews, and he would go super hard on developers that made games he didn't like. And he said that as he's gotten older, he realized that was bad and immature, and that he was going about it the wrong way. And like he regrets those videos. So he's actually, a lot of his newer videos are like redos of older ones. Like he's gone back and reviewed the same games again with a newer, more mature mindset, because he's like, I regret my older videos when I was kind of an asshole. Like I want to do it right now. So that
makes sense. I mean, when you're 15, you're young and dumb, and you have an opinion, and you're gonna make that opinion heard.
Right. Right. So, but his thing was like, he was like, it's okay to dislike games and stuff. He's like, my problem is I was being really mean to the developers themselves, and he was like,
Yeah.
and they didn't deserve that. He's like, because he said what the wake up call for him was he was watching interviews with like interview videos with these developers, and that was the part in his mind where he was like, oh wow, they're really just people like me, like
Yeah.
they're just like down to earth people, like working hard to make games, doing the thing they love. And he's like, and he realized too, there's a lot more nuance involved, and it's not always as simple as like lazy developers. Sometimes publishers get in the way and screw things up too. So
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So he's a lot more fair with his reviews now. He'll still be like, look, I still don't like what I don't like, but I'm not gonna be a complete jackass about it. And
Right.
like I'm gonna be honest. He's honest, and he is like one of those people that I think is helping to reclaim the lost art of media literacy, because his reviews come across the way I want to hear reviews. His reviews come across well spoken, well informed, highly researched, like he knows what he's talking about, and when there's something about something that he doesn't like, he's not a jackass about it. He's very well worded in how he expresses his distaste, while throwing in a few funny jabs here and there for entertainment purposes, and I think, for someone who's only like, I want to say 22, 23 at this point, he's doing a really fucking fantastic job with these.
Nice.
So I gotta give him props, and I highly recommend people go check out, like, I would definitely watch his retrospectives on the Sly Cooper series, and the Batman Arkham series, and the Uncharted series were probably my favorites that he's done. So and probably some of the best examples of the growth that he's gone through over so many years, as well as he will even admit this himself in several of these videos too. And some of his videos will even have titles like learning to love such and such game. Like, he'll admit in his Batman Arkham Origins retrospective video, he mentions how he actually hated the game the first time he played it, but has learned to love it as time has gone on.
Gotcha. Okay.
And stuff like that. So that's one of the reasons I love listening to him, because it's a very, like, some things age well,
yeah.
And it's nice to take a look back at them and do like a retro review, sort of.
Yeah.
And that's mostly what he's doing. It's mostly retro reviews for the most part. That are also like, deep dives and discussions about the things as well. So that's my strong recommend for Jay's Reviews YouTube channel. I think he deserves a lot more. I mean, he's got a pretty decent following, but I think he could stand to have a bit of a higher one. So. All right. And what's your last thing?
I'm gonna throw you for a loop. I'm not gonna talk about what I was gonna talk about before. I'm gonna talk about something that just popped up off the top of my head.
I don't even remember what the other thing was.
Fair enough. Okay. It's wrestling related, but it's more so wrestling video game related. So this is news. So there is a very, very well-known content creator for the community creations in the WWE 2K games, known as What's the Status. Recently, Mr. Status has he had gotten a permanent ban on his online account for doing anything online on any of the WWE 2K games. Like, he couldn't do any online creation, couldn't do community creations, couldn't play an online session with a friend, nothing. And they deleted all of his content from the community creations and everything. So, like, and everybody that downloads his his creation, like he makes good quality content. But what he was banned for was supposedly inappropriate content. And yes, there's the image tab on the WWE 2K community creations is I tend not to go over there for that very reason.
Okay.
I'm not going to go into detail as to what I've seen, but I'm just it's not kid friendly. Let's just say that.
People were making levels with phallic shaped objects in Little Big Planet, so I can only imagine.
Oh Jesus Christ. But it wasn't. He didn't get in trouble for doing that. He got in trouble for doing some digging and finding the some of the items that were hidden in the game's code and making it available for people in community creations. That's what got hit, because normally you get like a 24-hour ban, then it's a 2-week ban, and then it's a permanent ban.
Oh,
he just got a permanent ban right off. I've been following this very closely. He got the permanent ban right out the gates. No warning, no nothing.
I can imagine.
But,
I mean, in a way, that's basically theft. So
the community, WWE and 2K were in communications with him, and he gave us an update. There was a lot of people that like the community where there was an uprising on with this, and there was like I watched a couple of YouTube videos about it, and like what's the status is a very, very big name in the community for 2K. There was a lot of people saying that 2K just needs to hire him and have him show them how he did it, and then block anybody from ever able to doing that shit again. Hire him and unban him. Well, they unbanned him. It was trending on Twitter for the last week or so. It was hashtag free status.
They probably made an agreement with him behind closed doors, and I guarantee I guarantee you he signed an NDA, and part of the understanding of his unbanning is that he cannot, repeat whatever was said behind said doors of closing.
Yeah. Yeah. But basically, yeah, no, his ban was lifted, but there was a oh, hold on. Let me pull it up real quick.
I mean, I feel like people are always surprised when the consequences of their actions catch up to them. It's like, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. It's just a rule of life. Why is everyone always so baffled when they get punished for doing something wrong?
So...
I mean, it's in the terms of service when you agree to it to not do shit like that. So
sure is. But the community spoke. This is what it said. It said permanent online ban. We were recently alerted that this account has been associated with inappropriate content. This is a violation of our end user license agreement, which every player accepts prior to accessing WWE 2K24 online features. Accordingly, this account has now been permanently banned from WWE 2K24 online platform. That means you won't be able to access any online content features with this account. This ruling is final, and ban appeals are not being accepted. But his ban was lifted because the community spoke.
Yeah, I don't know if they have exactly the. I guarantee you it was just some kind of, because if it was anybody else, they wouldn't have given a shit. So it was because it was a big name person that drew a
Yeah,
lot of traffic to their game. It's not that the developers actually care what the community thinks, because I mean the community can disagree all day with people suffering the consequences of their actions, but that doesn't mean it's not the way fate isn't intended to work. So,
yeah.
people try to defy fate all the time and it always catches up to them. Uh
Yep.
but um
He had been
for
flying
the
under the radar for so long, it
for
finally
them
caught up with him.
for them this is strictly business. No,
Yeah, exactly.
what I'm saying is that the people that are outcrying, most of them are probably just mad because they were getting free shit from him they weren't supposed to get. But like,
Pretty much. I mean, he does make good quality content.
but also people have like, that's the other thing too. People have like an almost cult like loyalty for certain online people.
Content creators, yeah.
Yeah, and it gets to like a unhealthy rabid point at
Yeah.
times, to the point where
I wasn't one of the people that was like, hey, free status. No, I was
I mean,
retweeting this stuff because it
yeah,
intrigued me, and I wanted to be able to keep up with it too.
but I mean, like, when PewDiePie got in trouble a long time ago for saying the N-word, look at how many people defended him for that.
Yeah.
And that's like,
Good old PewDiePie.
I think I mean, and he's a better person now and all that, that's fine, but like at the
Yeah.
time, that's not the kind of thing that you defend, and yet people were defending it. And so
Right.
that to me shows that you can't really rely on someone's fan base to be morally competent. They're just going to take their side automatically because they like them, regardless of
Right.
whether or not what they did was wrong. So,
And here you got J.K. Rowling's fan base
Yeah.
rising up against her.
Yeah. Well, I would say the people who are against her are no longer fans of hers. They're some of them still fans of the stuff she made, but not a fan of her specifically. But yeah, it sounds like this guy basically suffered the consequences of his actions, but when 2K realized how popular he was and how valuable he was to their bottom line because of him driving traffic to the game based on his content, they made an executive business decision to unban him for the sake of their profits. That's all it was. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, no, no, he's been a part of the WWE 2K community creations community for a long time. As long as I can remember.
I just don't think the fan outcry had the leverage that they think it did on that. Like, if people want to pat themselves on the back for that so they can sleep better at night, that's fine. But like, the reality is that this was strictly business on 2K's part.
No, that's probably you're probably right. Yeah.
Like, yeah, it wasn't all the fan outcry did. It may have had an indirect effect because it showed them how popular he was and important to the traffic of their game, but it was still like, it definitely wasn't them caving into the demands of the people complaining. It was
No, definitely not. No, this is like you said, strictly business.
Because if it was somebody way smaller who did that and had like maybe like 500 fans who complained, they wouldn't give a shit.
No, they fucking fuck that. No, they wouldn't.
So, yeah. That person would stay banned regardless.
Yeah, they sure fucking would.
But well,
status.
Well, hopefully he learned his lesson and it's a happy ending for everybody. I mean, if you're gonna get
status,
go ahead.
He's got 91.9K 91.9 thousand followers.
Yep.
Like he's like, and that's just on Twitter.
Yeah, I was gonna not quite Markiplier numbers, not in the millions, but still pretty high.
not quite, but he's up there. He's got a huge following.
Yeah, that is pretty big for that community, I would say. It just still baffles me though that there are like
including myself.
That there are people on YouTube with numbers that are like subscriber counts that are like triple, even quadruple that number. So
yeah, I'm sure he's got a YouTube channel too. I'm pretty sure.
But yeah, I have to
to
imagine if you get banned for doing something and then turn around and do the same thing again, then at that point you deserve whatever happens. So I hope he learned his lesson.
Yeah. Okay. No, I don't think he has a YouTube channel because it would have the first thing that would have popped up would have been his channel, and it's just a bunch of videos talking about what I just talked about.
Right. Fair enough. But okay. Well then.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was our media corner for this episode, folks. We had Barmageddon, we had Knuckles, we had the trailer for Taro, we had the YouTube channel Jay's Reviews, and we had this situation with the WWE game.
Yes.
So, very interesting stuff. All right. Well.
Yes.
Now we'll be moving on to the topic of this episode, folks, which this episode's topic will be all about those prolific voice actors. See you there.
Let's go.
Next up, we've got Bartleby. It's a bumblebee voiced by Hugh Grant.
I could take a crack at that.
All right, go for it.
I would have brought flowers, but you see, I'm too small. Terribly sorry. I must admit I'm a little buzzed.
All right, everyone. Here we are at this episode's topic, which is all about voice actors. Yes.
We're
going to be talking about some of the most popular, most famous, most busy and well-known voice actors throughout history in cartoons, video games, anime, the whole shebang. And we're going to be focusing primarily on voice actors who have done, primarily voice acting, but there will be a section for some regular, like, live-action actors who have dabbled in voices or ones who have very famous voices that we have to talk about. So,
yes.
And, there's a lot of voices out there, everything from Roz from Monsters, Inc. You didn't file your paperwork. Or Yoda from the Star Wars.
That's a fucking spot-on Yoda impression, bro.
A shroud of the dark side has fallen. God damn it. Now I can't finish it. Your laughter is contagious.
Fair enough.
Anyways, there's a lot of
Run, Scoob.
Yeah, damn, that's pretty good. There's a lot of voices out there. Damn you, vile woman! No, I can't do Stewie.
I don't know you.
Yeah,
that's my purse. I don't know you.
Oh, that's
Bobby.
Nasty. Yeah. I
sell propane and propane accessories.
Yes. Hello, boys and girls. I am Monokuma. Yeah. So.
All right.
Yeah. From the Danganronpa games.
There
Had to
you
switch it
go.
up a little bit.
Yeah.
He's actually, so I have a little bit of experience with this because I've played 16 different voices in a Let's Play of Danganronpa, with Monokuma being one of them.
Yeah.
And God, that was an absolute hell, and I'm going to be doing it again soon enough for Danganronpa 2. But yeah, there's only so many voices in the world, and I envy people like Seth MacFarlane who can do all of these different voices and make them so distinct, because, like, I was doing all of these voices
I was doing deep voices like this, and I was doing shrill, high-pitched voices like this.
But in all of them, there's still a bit of me in there that you can kind of hear and tell, you know. But so I envy these people like him that can play all these different characters and have them all sound like completely different people.
Yeah.
It's
No,
great.
it's amazing. It's
what I'm basically doing is a pitch shift more than anything of my own voice for each of these, you know, or putting on like fake accents, like a snobby aristocat type guy, you know, something like that, or a
Yup.
or kind of a laid back dumbass who kind of talks like this, like Ben Stiller from Dodgeball, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, those kind of things. I was doing voices like that in it. Anyways, it makes my throat hurt after a while. I can't lie.
I could imagine.
There was one character I was doing who basically, for her voice, she sounded like she smoked a pack a day, you know. So that hurt my throat to do. It was kind of something like this. You know, just this low grumbling smoker's voice for minutes and minutes and minutes on end. God, see, that like hurts right now, you know? So, yeah. But the fact is I can do it, and that's the first step. You know, that's the important part. So, anyways, we're going to talk about the people who are actually good at this.
Yes.
And I want to start, actually, with Tara Strong, because she has a very strong resume. No pun intended.
Yes.
And God, she has done a lot. And before I even look at a list, things that just come to the top of my head immediately that I know for sure. Bubbles in the Powerpuff Girls, one of the cartoons I grew up with in the 90s. Twilight Sparkle in My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. The same creator, Lauren Faust, who did Powerpuff Girls, did that one.
Yes.
Harley Quinn in the Batman Arkham games, Batman Arkham Asylum and City and Night.
She was also Barbara Gordon in Barbara Gordon and Batgirl in the Batman the Killing Joke.
Barbara Gordon is Batgirl.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, true. There's that.
She was Batgirl. That's what the Killing Joke is about, is Barbara Gordon. When she's Batgirl, Joker finds out who she is, breaks into her apartment, paralyzes her, and that's how she becomes Oracle when she's wheelchair bound.
Mm-hmm. And she was...
Killing Joke is one of the most famous Batman stories in history, too.
Yes.
And... a really good one.
Oh, she's got...
Miss Minutes on Loki. She's Miss Minutes on the show Loki, which is very, very recent.
Yeah.
The animated clock girl.
Okay.
She's also Raven. Raven in the Teen Titans. All iterations of the Teen Titans. She's Raven.
She was Twilight Sparkle in My Little Pony Friendship is Magic.
Yep, mentioned that. She played Mainframe in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, who was played by Miley Cyrus in Volume 2, but played by Tara Strong in Volume 3.
Okay.
That's the computer face robot girl thing.
Okay.
That works for that works for the what are they, the Ravagers? Whatever Sylvester Stallone's people are. I can't remember. But she's that.
Scavengers?
Timmy Turner.
She did do Timmy Turner, didn't she? Okay.
Timmy Turner in The Fairly Odd Parents. Yes, she is known for that. I also believe she was Dill Pickles in the Rugrats.
She was.
Yeah, she has a lot of voices in cartoons and video games. Those are the ones off the top of my head. But now I'm looking through a list.
Okay.
But just thinking of some of the ones we talked about, so yeah, she's done several side voices in American Dad. I'm not really counting that. I'm not gonna dive too deep into that stuff where people do like 100 different voices on the same show. But like side characters, I mean, when they're doing like side characters that only pop up for 3 seconds, I want to focus on like big characters.
Yeah.
She's been 10.
Oh. Okay.
Yep. Also, she played Ashi in the final season of Samurai Jack, one of the daughters of Aku,
Okay.
who joins Jack to help take him down. It was when Adult Swim revived it.
Okay.
And brought it. She's done a bunch of side voices in Rick and Morty as well.
She was Harley Quinn,
other things.
Batgirl, and Raven in Lego DC Supervillains.
Yep. She's done a lot of superhero stuff.
Yeah.
Voices, a bunch of side voices in Family Guy, like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe some like characters that appeared for like one episode and then didn't again. But yeah, so tell me, out of a lot of these ones that we've talked about so far, who's your favorite Tara Strong character that she's played?
That's a tough one. I would have.
Yeah, we have mentioned quite a few of them.
Yeah, like you said, her resume is extensive. I would have to say
she played Mary Jane. She played Mary Jane in the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon that ran from 2012 to 2017.
I would have to say.
Oh shit! She's Riku in Final Fantasy X and 10-2. That's right.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah. Yep. I almost forgot about that.
Man, I would have to say, it is a toss-up between Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls.
Okay.
And Twilight Sparkle from My Little Pony.
Interesting. I think I'm gonna have to go with her portrayal of Harley in the Batman Arkham games.
Okay.
I really like her version of Harley. She's not the one who played her in the animated series, but she's doing a very that was Arlene Sorkin.
Uh-huh.
She's doing a pretty damn good job imitating that version of Harley.
Okay.
I would say.
There's a video floating around online somewhere of Tara Strong sitting on Mark Hamill's lap, and they each do a small line or two as Joker and Harley Quinn.
Yes, I have seen that. Yeah, that's from ages ago.
Mm-hmm.
Ages ago. So, keeping in line with these voices, you know what? Let's talk about Seth MacFarlane.
Yes.
Might as well.
Why not?
He's on here.
Why the fuck not?
So,
Seth MacFarlane.
Creator of Family Guy and voices of Peter, Brian, Stewie, Quagmire, Carter, Dr. Hartman, and many others.
Yes.
Also Stan and Roger on American Dad, and he was Tim the Bear for the first season of The Cleveland Show.
Okay.
Yep, he also is the creator of and star of this show, The Orville, and
yes.
has also... So this Seth MacFarlane started as a voice actor and made his way into live-action stuff, including A Million Ways to Die in the West and The Orville. And then there's also Ted, but he's still a voice actor in that one as he voices an animated teddy bear.
Yes. An animated pot-smoking teddy bear.
Also, though, he has been in other things that he is not directly involved in, but has voiced in. He played the mouse in Sing.
He sure did.
And actually sang in that movie.
Yeah,
a couple times.
I was like, you
said
cannot
mouse.
mistake his voice.
Correct. And also, what's crazy about that too is there was an episode of Family Guy a couple seasons back that was basically like, it was a super meta episode where they were all recording a commentary, like the cartoon character family was recording a commentary for an episode of their show for the DVD.
Mm-hmm.
And so the whole time over the episode, it's like you can't really tell if it's the characters in the episode talking or the ones in the booth talking over it talking, because it's the same characters. And then it gets even more confusing when the real life voice actors Seth MacFarlane, Mila Kunis, Seth Green, and Alex Bornstein come in and start talking to their animated counterparts. So you have the characters in the episode that they're talking over talking, then you have the animated characters doing the commentary, and then their voice actors talking to them as well. So then it leads to shit like Seth MacFarlane saying, well, you see, Peter, and hi, by the way, this is Seth, not Brian, for the people listening. You know, like... but what was really funny is when Seth MacFarlane walks in, Peter said, "Holy crap, it's the mouse from Sing."
That's awesome.
Yeah, anyways, one of the best, most confusing episodes they've ever done, in my opinion. Everyone hates it, but I love it. It's one of my favorites.
What was that on?
That was Family Guy.
Okay, it was... Okay. Wait.
Yeah.
What episode was that?
That was the one where they were doing commentary over one of their own episodes. From a couple seasons ago.
I must have missed that one.
I just said all this. Stay with me, man. I will say, so you should know that Seth MacFarlane actually got his start as a writer for Cartoon Network, and he worked on Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo, and Cow and Chicken.
Yes, he did. He sure did.
Mm-hmm. And the first cartoon he ever did was actually called The Life of Larry, which got its premiere on the What a Cartoon show on Cartoon Network, and it was basically a very early version of Family Guy about a guy named Larry and his dog named Steve. And it was very much Peter and Brian. Same voices, too, but characters look completely different. But, like, it was, you know, it's what eventually became Family Guy down the road.
Okay.
But, yeah, he also once released a DVD called Seth MacFarlane's Cavalcade of Cartoon Comedy, which is basically a bunch of... Yeah, it's basically a bunch of Family Guy cutaways that didn't make it to air, so he dumped them on a DVD.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's what I think it is, basically.
No, that
like,
makes
literally
total
every
sense.
skit is basically yeah.
I still have that somewhere, yeah.
So, yeah, so anyways, Seth MacFarlane, who is your favorite Seth MacFarlane character?
Oh, Peter Griffin, hands down. Yes.
Really? Okay. I think I'm gonna go with Roger the Alien, I think.
Okay. Okay, so no, it's a toss-up between Peter and Ted.
Which basically the same voice, those two.
Yeah, but it's the character.
Fair enough. Okay, so I'm gonna take you for what's that?
I have one that I want to talk about.
Okay.
Nancy Cartwright.
Oh yeah, Bart Simpson.
Yes, not just Bart Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
She also does Ned the bully.
Yes, she does.
Nancy Cartwright. Let's see here.
I think she does a lot of voices in The Simpsons, primarily those two.
She does.
She's also Ralph Wiggum
now. Holy. She could single-handedly do this entire show by her. So she is Bart Simpson. She is Nelson, Ralph, Kearney, Todd Flanders, Maggie Simpson, Database, Lewis. Oh, she does a lot. Holy shit.
Yeah, you mentioned all the big ones. The rest of them are going to be side characters. Here's another big one for you, though. Chucky from the Rugrats.
She did do Chucky from the Rugrats, didn't she?
And still does in the reboot they did on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
They got all the original voices back as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
She's
Aside
also
from, like the parents.
Yeah, she also voiced all those same Simpsons characters on that Family Guy crossover episode.
Yes,
as
she
well.
did.
Um,
She was
and
Rufus in the 2019 Kim Possible live action film.
she was Rufus in Kim Possible, period. Like, the whole thing.
That's okay. That's fair.
Yep, she was Rufus throughout all of Kim Possible, the entire thing. She also played Rufus in the crossover with Lilo and Stitch that Kim Possible did, and played the
Yes.
voice of a couple of different experiments in the animated series as well.
Okay.
She was Short Stuff in Phantasmo, those particular ones.
Okay.
Yep, so Chucky from Rugrats, Rufus from Kim Possible, Bart and Ralph, and several others from The Simpsons, Nelson.
Fred Bitters from Teacher's Pet.
Putt Putt from the Putt Putt video computer games, educational games from when I was a kid. Like Putt Putt Joins the Circus, you know, the little purple car?
Yeah.
You know that? Yeah. That's her.
Okay.
Yes. She's Mindy in the Animaniacs, although I don't remember who that is exactly.
Neither do I.
I think it might be the girl with the skull thing. The one that looks like
Okay.
Elmira. The one that looks like Elmira from Tiny Toons.
Okay.
She was the Pink Panther in the animated series of that.
Okay.
It looks like. Or it says she was in it, at least. It doesn't say who she played, but...
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, she was in a few episodes of Bobby's World. That's a throwback. That was a 90s show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. She was a couple different voices in the 90s Disney series Goof Troop, including Pistol Pete,
Sure was.
Pistol, like Pete's daughter, Pistol.
Yeah.
And then other characters, Kathy and Millie. But yeah, she was Pistol on Goof Troop.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of... Okay, so that about covers most of it. So, favorite Nancy Cartwright character?
Oh, hands down, Bart Simpson.
Yeah, I think I was gonna say the same. Definitely Bart.
there's
this
no contest.
Okay, I'm gonna take you for a quick spin. This one will be one that will only have a few that you might recognize. I'll probably know more than you, but we're gonna talk real quick about Yuri Lowenthal, who you will most recently recognize as Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, in the Spider-Man Insomniac video game series.
Yes.
Also, though, you may have recognized his voice in Final Fantasy VII Remake as the red-headed crazy guy running around named Johnny.
Okay.
If you've met Johnny a couple of times, he's the one being dragged off by thugs earlier. You had to go save him. He's running around Wall Market causing mischief. You'll see a lot of him you'll see even more of him in Rebirth as well.
Okay.
But he's played by he's played by Yuri Lowenthal in that as well.
Okay.
You've met him. Met him by this point.
Yeah.
He was blindfolded when you saved him. And Cloud was about to kill him until Tifa was like, no, wait.
He was Smoke in Mortal Kombat 1.
Yes. He does additional voices in a lot of video games and anime. He's in mostly video games and anime.
He was Insomniac Spider-Man and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yep, reprised his role for the multiverse. He also plays Spider-Man in Marvel's Midnight Suns, the card-based strategy game for that.
Okay.
Yep, he's been in games like Bayonetta 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Star Ocean, let's see, Return to Monkey Island. That's a big one. Saints Row. That's a big one. Let's see. A Tale Told by an Idiot. That's a good name for a thing. Let's see. Oh, he's in the League of Legends series Arcane as a couple different characters, Milo being the main one. you'd want to see. He was in Death Stranding, Lost Judgment, Psychonauts 2, Marvel Future Foundation, Near
He was
Replicant.
in the DC animated film Injustice. He was Mirror Master, Flash, and Shazam.
Yep. And also he's in the very popular anime series RWBY, RWBY, as the character Mercury Black.
Psychonauts 2?
Yep. And he was in the game Call of the Sea as Harry Everhart. Bug Snacks he was in.
Ben 10.
Genshin Impact. Yep. These are mostly video games. That he's in. And then, of course, anime, cartoons. He's been in pretty much every Persona game.
The Spider-Man animated
Worlds
series that ran from 2017 to 2020, he was in that.
Yep. He is in Metro Exodus. He's in
Prince of Persia, The Dagger of Time.
Yep. He was in a couple of Uncharted games. He was in Mass Effect Andromeda.
Death Stranding.
Yep. He was in Final Fantasy 15. World of Final Fantasy. He's been in quite a few Final Fantasies, this Yuri Lowenthal. So, anyways, yeah, it looks like he played some voices of some of the mercenaries you kill in the Uncharted games. Just like generic enemy voice,
Okay.
For the lines when they say stuff like, he's over there, get him, and shit like that, like 7 lines per game. But he does that. He does main characters, he does side characters, he does all he's just a voice actor, like that is his job.
Yeah.
So anyways, out of the ones that you're familiar with, what's your Yuri Lowenthal pick?
Peter Parker.
Yep, I'm pretty much gonna have to say the same. Oh yeah, he's in the new Alone in the Dark game too as Mr. Waits. That's right. I almost didn't recognize. It's because he's doing a heavy Southern accent in that one.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep. So, anyways, moving right along.
I want to get one person out of the way, and he only has one voice acting credit.
Okay.
I gotta talk about my guy, Larry the Cable Guy. Shout out, Tomater.
Worry. Moving right along, I want to look at, let's see, throw a dart. Ooh, it's going to be between these two for a minute. Let's go Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
But he's not just SpongeBob, is he? No. You can hear his voice in many things. He played a couple voices in the High on Life video game that I recently played. He's also the voice of Squanchy in Rick and Morty.
Okay.
The cat, among a few others. Their neighbor Gene, that's him too. Tom Kenny likes doing comedy stuff. He's been in a bunch of Adventure Time stuff, Solar Opposites. He's in Housebroken as several voices as well. But his main voice, of course, is SpongeBob. But also, he played the angry forest ranger on that Tosh.0 show, Brickleberry, where or Daniel Tosh played the bear. Tom Kenny was the park ranger in that. And he basically reprised that role for a Netflix series called Paradise PD.
Okay.
He was Wally Walrus in Woody Woodpecker animated series.
Okay.
He's done several voices in American Dad. Let's see. A couple of voices in Robot Chicken.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Oh, he's the Ice King in Adventure Time. Duh. That's right. Pretty big deal, that character. That's right. Right.
He was Wheelie in the Transformers films.
That's right. He was in the second Transformers, I think. He was one of the twins.
Wheelie.
He was Wheelie and one of the twins in the second movie.
Okay.
He played two voices in that. Also, you're not gonna believe this, the voice of Rabbit in Kingdom Hearts 3 in the Winnie the Pooh world.
I believe it.
So Yep, that's him. That's him in that. Also, hold your horses. You ready for this? He's the voice of Spyro the Dragon in the remake trilogy.
What?
Yep, that's him. He also plays the Professor and Sergeant Bird in the Year of the Dragon section of it.
I'm gonna need to go and play that sometime soon. Again.
Oh, again, I was gonna say, yeah.
Play a little bit more of it, yeah.
Yeah. The Spyro. Ooh, man, they did such a good job with that one.
Yeah, they did.
They did a better job with that one than they did the Crash Bandicoot one, which was mostly good, except the first game was kind of broken.
Yeah.
But the first game was hard in the first place compared to the other ones. Let's see. He's done some voices on the Boondocks.
Okay.
A few different things. He played a voice in that Ahmed Saves America animated series or movie from Jeff Dunham.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh boy, he played a few voices on The Annoying Orange.
Okay.
Oh, he was the voice of the mayor in the Powerpuff Girls. Yeah, the short little guy with the mustache and monocle.
Now that you say that, I can see it. I can see it. Yep.
Girls, the town's in trouble.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So we got a few. Oh wait, Futurama. He was in Futurama. Oh, he was in Futurama a lot. Side characters.
Side characters.
A lot of side characters. Yeah, a lot of like one episode characters.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty far. Ooh, Generator Rex, Fitzy Feekins. Okay. Let's see. He did a voice in Frankenweenie. His list is pretty goddamn long too. He's in quite. Oh, that's right. He was Dr. Fist in the Cleveland Show. Seth MacFarlane played him at first, and then when he didn't anymore, Tom Kenny took over.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, we mentioned a few Tom Kenny characters. We got SpongeBob. We've got some Transformers characters. The park ranger from Brickleberry. The mayor from Townsville. Anyways, your favorite Tom Kenny voice?
SpongeBob. SpongeBob
I figured
SquarePants. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured you might say that, and I think I have to agree. Either that or Squanchy from Rick and Morty.
Gotcha, okay.
Which is kind of more or less the same voice. Can't really deny that too much. Anyways, you said there was a Tom Kenny impressionist that you're familiar with?
He does a lot of different voices. Like, he's done Seth MacFarlane voices, too.
Okay.
He's a YouTuber, and he looks like a younger version of Seth MacFarlane. Like, Seth MacFarlane has a long-lost son somewhere. By the name of Mikey Bolts.
Oh, okay. You know, for some reason I thought you were going to say Brock Baker.
No, Mikey Bolts. He's done, like, prank call videos as Stewie. He's done covers of different songs as multiple different Family Guy voices, like Brian, Peter, Stewie. I think he does Cleveland at one point too. I could be wrong. I haven't watched any of his videos in a long time, and I don't know why Mikey Bolts came to mind, but I'm glad it did, because can't leave out I don't know how big he got, or if he ever ended up getting any voice work.
Okay. All right, next up in line, spinning the wheel, spinning the wheel, spinning the wheel of voice actors. Where will it land? Where will it land? Nobody knows. In what land? Where will it land? Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the South Park guys.
Yes. Okay.
Not only are they the creators of this show, but they voice practically all of the characters who aren't female.
Yes.
For the most part.
Yes.
Like, they are the voice of all 4 boys. They are the voice of most of the kids. They are the voices of most of the dads, like Randy and Stotch. What's his name? Steve, Butter's dad? Something like that? Steve, I think it is. Yeah, so they're basically all of those voices, and as far as I can tell, that pretty much is where it begins and ends. They did South Park, and they also did Team America World Police and a bunch of other stuff.
Damn it, Kyle, you killed Kenny!
South Park is their bread and butter. Most other things they've been in have been, like, live action.
Yes.
So, I guess if you had to pick a favorite character that they've played, it would just be, throw a dart at any South Park.
It's a toss between Cartman and Randy Marsh.
Yeah, I think I was going to go with Randy Marsh as well. That's probably a big one. Yeah, I'm not going to linger on them for too long because what more can you say? They're the South Park guys.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So, moving right along. I'm going to make sure we get a good mix of all of different people in here, representing a diverse rainbow of people. So, let's go with Phil Lamar. He has been in movies, but he is also well known for a lot of different voices, including Samurai Jack. He is the voice of Samurai Jack.
Okay.
Also, he's the voice of Hermes on Futurama. Hermes Conrad.
Okay.
On Futurama. Yes, indeed. And some of his most recent things that he's done. Craig of the Creek on Cartoon Network. He plays Bernard.
Okay.
And Carl, quite a few characters actually, and Gus. Let's see. He was in Kung Fu Panda 4. Let's see. The Loud House, he's a mainstay in that show, as a few different characters as well.
Okay.
I think Bernard might. I don't know which character Bernard is in that, but anyways, he is in a few episodes of Bob's Burgers as well. He played a few voices in American Dad. This seems to be a running theme, with a lot of these. Adventure Time, but yeah. Let's see. Garrus in Mortal Kombat 1. He plays the voice of God in Disenchantment, basically medieval Futurama.
Okay.
In the Harley Quinn series on HBO Max, which, by the way, since you like Velma so much, you need to watch Harley Quinn. There's no excuse not to.
No, I've watched a few episodes here and there. I also need to hop on season 2 of Velma. By the way, that's up on Max.
Yeah.
I need to get it. I need to hop on that.
Have you enjoyed the Harley Quinn so far?
Yes, I have.
That you've seen the show.
Yes, I have. I like that Kaylee Cuoco from The Big Bang Theory as Penny is the voice of Harley Quinn.
Okay, yeah, definitely keep going with that show because, God, it gets so good. Anyways, he plays the voice of Lucius Fox in that show.
Okay.
As well as a few other characters. Samson, a shark god, and a few others, but mainly Lucius Fox, the guy who makes tech for Batman.
Yeah.
He plays Butterscotch in Housebroken.
Okay.
He's in a few, he is in the new Beavis and Butthead show, the one that started in 2022.
Yeah.
As a couple different characters. He used to play Ollie Williams on Family Guy.
Okay.
The news, the weather reporter on the news.
It's raining!
It would do just like quick. Yeah.
It's raining outside!
Yeah, he's like, "What's the weather today, Ollie?" "It's gonna rain!" Thanks, Ollie. Yes. Yep, that was him. That was Phil Lamar.
That's awesome.
Yep. Let's see, he's done some voices in Dragon Age, Star Wars animated stuff here and there. A few Rick and Morty voices, some more Beavis and Butthead stuff. Pretty prolific, or he's like in a lot of cartoons. He plays Jar Jar Binks in Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
Okay. I can see it.
Oh, he was in the Book of Boba Fett as a couple different people, and that was live action. So
okay.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, Phil Lamar. He's in F is for Family as Curtis Higgins. That's the that's the comedy show F is for Family by God, what's that comedian? Bill Burr. That's his show.
Okay.
Let's see. Bless the Hearts. He was in Final Space. He was in a few things, couple episodes of Animaniac, yada yada. Anyways, though, yeah,
he was
big stuff.
He was in the recent animated film Kung Fu Panda 4.
Yes, I mentioned that. Yeah, he's been through. He's done a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Mostly cartoons, a couple of video games. But anyways, his big characters.
Wasn't he on Saturday Night Live?
No, not him. I don't think so. It's not in his credits. Oh, yeah, he played Volgrim in the Darksiders games. That's right. Kind of a different voice for him, too. But that just shows how a lot of these characters have a lot of range, because some of these characters I'm mentioning, they sound the same, and some of them sound completely different. He plays Ratbag in Middle-earth Shadow of War, which is an orc.
And he's an orc that talks like this,
And that is a completely different,
like sniveling with a bit of an accent, kind of.
And that is completely different from a character like Hermes, who talks like this, And that just goes to show how much range a lot of these voice actors have, because they're doing such different great jobs.
Yeah.
And that is Phil Lamar. So we have, Samurai Jack, we have Hermes, God, I already forgot some of the other ones I mentioned. Lucius Fox and Harley Quinn. He did a couple voices in the Mario Brothers movie. The Hypno Priest on Adventure Time. Oh, he was on King of the Hill.
As who?
He played a couple characters. The main one being Roger Buddha Sack. He was a waiter at one point, an emergency worker in one episode. Yeah, so but basically a bunch of side characters.
Okay.
Yep, he was in Regular Show, Supergirl, Star Wars Rebels. He was in one episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh?
Okay.
That's where I recognize him from.
Yeah.
Just seeing his face.
He played the voice of an Impala in the Lion King live action remake as well.
Okay.
But all right, what's our favorite Phil Lamar voice?
Ollie Williams.
That's the one. That's one of the ones I forgot. Ollie Williams. That's right. Ollie Williams on Family Guy. I'm gonna go with Samurai Jack. I think.
All right.
For me. Yeah, I think Samurai Jack deserves a mention. Okay.
Who's up next?
Before I lose the momentum on it, I'm gonna talk real quick about two pretty damn big video game voice actors.
Okay.
Nolan North and Troy Baker. We're gonna start with Nolan North, who has been in a lot. But
he was Nathan Drake in the Uncharted series.
Absolutely, he was, and that is probably one of the things he is most known for. Now, he's done a lot of voices in things like Family Guy, Rick and Morty,
Didn't he
yada
do
yada.
some voice work in the Assassin's Creed games too?
Yep, he was Desmond Mile in Assassin's Creed, which for the first, 5 games of the series. He was the, main protagonist of the modern day era of the game.
He made a cameo in the Uncharted movie as a hotel guest.
Yep. He was the guy when they walked up out of the water after falling out of the plane. He was like, fell out of the plane, did you? I hate when that happens, or something like that. That was him. So yeah, that was Nolan North doing a little cameo because he plays the voice of Superman in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, the new game, but he also reprises his role as Penguin, or Oswald Cobblepot, aka Penguin, from the Batman Arkham games in this as well.
He was...
And he puts on a bit of a Cockney accent like this when he's playing the Penguin, mate.
That's how he does it. But normally he sounds like Nathan Drake is his normal voice. Like, hey, I'm Nathan Drake, wise talking smartass, kind of guy.
Was
I can't do a Nathan.
Tony Stark in the Marvel's Avengers game.
Yes, sirree, Boba Fett, he sure was. Captain Martin Walker in Spec Ops: The Line, very underrated game. Did a couple of additional voices in Lollipop Chainsaw, played the Scarecrow and Captain Boomerang and Hush in the Lego Batman
He is
games.
the voice of Iron Man in Fortnite.
Couple additional voices in different Final Fantasy games. He plays a couple voices in some Lord of the Rings games. Like I mentioned, the Penguin in the Batman games. Let's see. And what's funny is that we'll get to this eventually, but him playing the Penguin in the Batman Arkham games is funny because Troy Baker plays Two-Face in those same games.
Okay.
So we'll be getting to that. And Tara Strong plays Harley. It's a real who's who of voice actors in that franchise. Yeah. And we'll get to them eventually, but Kevin Conroy plays Batman, and Mark Hamill plays the Joker in those games as well. So, it's basically, it's a real frickin' smorgasbord, He played a very popular character in one of the Call of Duty games. There's a video where Troy Baker and Nolan North react to a countdown list of their top voices that they've ever done, and it's actually really worth mentioning.
Nice.
Oh, that's right. Nolan North is the voice of Deadpool in the Deadpool video game that came out for PS3 and 360 a while back.
That's Nolan North?
Did a song about. Yep, the one that Team Headkick did a song about.
I love that game.
He also plays Deadpool in Marvel's Midnight Suns as well.
Okay.
So.
Nice.
Yeah, and he does a great Deadpool. And Deadpool is pretty close to how... Deadpool is pretty close to how Nathan Drake sounds.
Okay, yeah, no, he definitely, he does a really good Deadpool.
But here's another game that Nolan North and Troy Baker were in together, Tales from the Borderlands, because Nolan North played August in that, and Troy Baker played Reese, the main character.
Okay.
Yeah, Nolan North had some voices in games like Little Big Planet, Saints Row. He was the Black Hand of Sauron in Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor.
Okay.
He played Rocket Raccoon in the Disney Infinity game.
Oh, nice.
I could see that. I could see him playing Rocket. He played the Amazing Spider-Man 2 video game that came out in 2014 based on the Andrew Garfield movie. He played Green Goblin, Harry Osborn, Kraven the Hunter, and Sergei Kravinoff. Kraven the Hunter and Sergei Kravinoff are the same person, but yeah.
Okay.
Yep. He's in Titanfall, bunch of Final Fantasies, all that stuff. So anyways, So yeah, we talked. Oh, he plays David in The Last of Us. That's right. That's crazy because okay, so David in The Last of Us is the right hand man to this cannibal cult leader that they run into later in the game, and what's funny about that is that Troy Baker, who's the voice of Joel in The Last of Us, plays David in the live action version of the show. So,
Okay.
yeah, so that's funny because the voices of Joel and Ellie in the games, Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson, play roles in the live action show just as different characters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny that the role that Troy Baker plays in the live action version of The Last of Us is the role that Nolan North voiced in the video game version.
Okay.
Yeah, Nolan North and Troy Baker are in a lot of the same shit together, and those two are pretty much interchangeable. In like, you throw a dart, it lands on a video game, chances are one of them has been in it. You want to know another one they've been in together? Do you remember the two brothers you fought in the first God of War game, Magni and Modi, when you fought them together?
But yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you fight them together, and it's when Atreus really first starts getting into, like, his evil side, when he, like, kills one of them or something.
Yeah.
So, Magni and Modi, you remember them. Okay.
Yes.
Well, guess who voices them?
Nolan North.
Nolan North and Troy Baker.
Okay.
Yep. Nolan North is Modi, and Troy Baker is Magni.
Okay.
Yep, so...
Very nice.
He's also the voice of Isildur in Middle-earth: Shadow of War. You remember in the first Lord of the Rings movie when they did the flashback and he was supposed to throw the ring in the fire and he didn't, and Elrond was like, Isildur! He needs to throw it. Yeah, so anyways, he played him in the video game.
Okay.
I have a wish list for Nathan Drake versus Captain Jack Sparrow as an epic rap battles of history. Like, I want to see that because they're both wisecracking treasure hunters who accidentally their way out of everything.
Pretty much.
With charisma, and everything falls apart and explodes around them as they get out unscathed somehow. It's like literally all of their escapes are like Rube Goldberg nonsense, and I love it. So anyways, favorite Nolan North character?
It's a toss-up between Nathan Drake and Deadpool.
Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna have to go Nathan Drake, though. That's a big one for me. Although he does play a really good Oswald Cobblepot. Okay. So, on that same note, Troy Baker, obviously Joel in The Last of Us, the video game version, not the live-action one, obviously.
Yeah.
He plays the villain in the video game Fort Solis that I kind of talked about a little bit a while back.
Yeah.
A bunch of voices in Diablo 4. God of War Ragnarok, he plays the voice of one of the squirrels, the bitter one in particular.
He reprises his role as Magni in God of War Ragnarok Valhalla. Yes.
He is also he played John Jones in Fortnite. That's right. That's the one of the default skin characters in Fortnite, like the blonde guy that you see a lot, John Jones.
Yeah. Okay.
Whenever he talks, yeah. Which, by the way, the Foundation, which we haven't seen much of him lately, but he is there, is played by The Rock in that game.
Okay.
Troy Baker is one of the villains in Death Stranding, known as Higgs Monaghan. Really interesting character. He played a monster in this horror game called The Medium, called the Maw, who's just, like, chasing you around. He played Simon Krieger in Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Okay.
He played the voice of Bruce Banner in the Marvel's Avengers 2020 game.
He was Higgs Monaghan in Death Stranding.
Yep. Let's see. He's Shinnok in Mortal Kombat, in the new Mortal Kombat games. More recently. Yep. He's Shinnok in those. He played the voice of Snow in Final Fantasy 13, one of the main party members. He plays him. He plays Nathan Drake's brother, Sam Drake, in Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy, those two games.
Yep.
So there's another Nolan North Troy Baker. Another Nolan North Troy Baker crossover. He plays Talion, the main playable character in Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor, and War. And so he's the main protagonist in that game, and Nolan North is the main antagonist in it.
He's the voice of Jason Todd in Batman Arkham VR.
Yep, and to tie in with that, he also played the voice of Batman himself and Bruce Wayne in the Telltale Batman series.
Yep, I see that here, yep.
Yep, he also played Booker DeWitt in BioShock Infinite. He's the main character in that.
Harvey Dent and Two-Face in Batman Arkham Underworld.
Yes, Harvey Dent is Two-Face, and yeah, he played Two-Face throughout the entire Batman Arkham franchise, which I thought was really cool. He's also the voice of Revolver Ocelot in the Metal Gear Solid franchise, which is a pretty big deal.
Okay.
And he's one of the most popular characters in that franchise for the fans of it.
He was Hawkeye and Loki in Disney Infinity.
Yup. Let's see. Yeah, like I said, he played the voice of Reese in Tales from the Borderlands, which is another, side character, which is another Nolan North Troy Baker crossover. Mm-hmm. He played the main villain of Far Cry 4, Pagan Min. This is a pretty big one right there. Yup. He played Delson Rowe in Infamous Second Son, which was an early PS4 launch title. He played the main protagonist of that game.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever played the Infamous games, but the early PS3 Infamous games, where you played as a guy who got electric powers through an accident, and then as you're playing the game, it's like an open world game where you can use your powers for good or evil. So you can go around zapping civilians if you want, or go around zapping enemies, and you do different quests, and you go to do the story and find stuff, but there's a karma system where you either gain good or evil powers based on your choices, and it leads to an either good or evil ending at the end of the game. And Infamous Second Son was no exception, except in Infamous Second Son, instead of electric powers, you get a combination of different things. You get concrete powers, neon powers, smoke powers. It's really
Infamous
cool.
Second Son was pretty cool. I
played you did play that?
I did play some of that. In fact, I played some of it at the PlayStation event that you and I went to with our good friend Tech Nerd over on PSN.
That's right, Harry.
Yeah, Harry. Now. Yeah, in the PlayStation trailer, that they had at Summerfest.
Okay.
But I ended up getting the game itself as well, and I also, because I had PlayStation Plus, I had gotten Infamous First Light as well.
Okay. Oh yeah, Infamous First Light. That one's all neon powers, and I loved it.
Yeah, it was interesting for sure. The
neon power was my favorite one in Infamous Second Son, because if you hold the circle button, you can basically turn into a neon Sonic the Hedgehog and run around everywhere.
That was one of my favorite parts of that game.
Troy Baker also plays Jake Muller in Resident Evil 6, the son of Albert Wesker, main villain of the series.
He did the voice of Sinestro and Nightwing in Injustice: Gods Among Us.
Oh, yeah, he did. He also plays Robin, a.k.a. Tim Drake, in the Batman Arkham games as well. I forgot about that.
Booker DeWitt in BioShock Infinite.
Yep, we got that one. He's also James Sunderland in Silent Hill 2, who is the main protagonist of that, and Silent Hill 2 is probably the most popular game in the Silent Hill franchise. He's also Kai Lang in Mass Effect 3, who is a martial arts bounty hunter that occasionally shows up and tries to kill you in that game. He's also a character named Kanji in Persona 4. He is in so much, and Troy Baker's list is very long. Espio the Chameleon in the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be here all night if we try to do. Oh yeah, Vincent Brooks in the Catherine game. Yeah, we'll be here all night. So let's pick a Troy Baker character to call a favorite.
Oh, dude, I don't even know.
Yeah, there's quite a few there, but I know you're familiar with some of them.
Yeah.
I think I'll go first then, and probably just go with Joel from The Last of Us.
I'd have to say Booker DeWitt from BioShock Infinite.
I'm surprised you didn't say Magni from God of War, being more familiar with it. But
I mean, I'm familiar with BioShock Infinite too. I've played through the game.
Oh, okay. Wait, you the whole game?
I believe
okay.
so, yeah.
Okay, yeah, best escort mission ever.
Oh, dude, that game was the visuals were phenomenal.
Yeah, hard agree. Can't disagree there at all. Okay, so, we obviously have to mention Mel Blanc, who is basically the voice actor to start all voice acting.
Yes.
He is Looney Tunes. He is the Looney Tunes guy. He was Bugs Bunny. He was Daffy Duck. He was damn near all of them, basically. He was Tweety Bird. You know,
he sure was.
He was the creator of these characters. He played them. He really got his start there. But not only that, he was also Mr. Spacely on the Jetsons. George Jetson's boss, who's like, Jetson, you're fired! You know, that guy. Yep. Yeah, he was, and you know how you can tell that's him? Because it sounds exactly like Yosemite Sam, who he also played.
Yeah.
But he basically was Seth MacFarlane before Seth MacFarlane was, and I think Seth MacFarlane has quoted Mel Blanc as an inspiration.
That would make sense.
All these voices he did on shows he created. I mean, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Yosemite Sam, Foghorn Leghorn. Also, he was on the Flintstones as a bunch of characters. He was Dino. He was Captain Caveman.
He was Heathcliff.
Captain Caveman! That guy.
Heathcliff, the poor man's Garfield.
He was Barney Rubble. Barney Rubble on the Flintstones.
Okay.
And you said Heathcliff? Yep. You know. Yes, also known as the poor man's Garfield.
Yes.
Yeah, he did some voices in Alvin and the Chipmunks. I
already know my favorite voice he did. There's no contest.
Oh, hey, your friend. Can I have some of those Fruity Pebbles? Barney, my pebbles! No, okay, anyways. Let's see. Yeah. So I guess it's safe to say that it pretty much begins and ends at a lot of these, I mean, he played other... Oh, he did Porky Pig a couple times, too. He did a character named Quack Up. But yeah, he was basically damn near all of the Looney Tunes. He was Barney Rubble. He was Mr. Spacely on the Jetsons. So who's your Mel Blanc
Bugs Bunny.
pick?
Hands down, no contest.
What's up, Knock?
Yes.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with Daffy Duck. You're despicable.
Duck season.
Wabbit season.
Duck season.
Wabbit season. Yep. I
Wabbit season.
Duck season. Fire.
Yes.
Yep. So yeah, couldn't do an episode about voice actors without talking about Mel Blanc. And on that same note, since we mentioned Nancy Cartwright earlier, we also have to talk about Dan Tortellini. Anyways, the voice of Homer Simpson. The voice of Homer Simpson.
Yes.
He has entertained us for many an age, from the year I was born in 1989 up until now still somehow. Also, not only Homer Simpson, but he's also the robot devil in Futurama, who has made many appearances in that show.
Okay.
He was part of the very famous episode with the Golden Fiddle, where Fry, exchanges his hands for the ability to play music good.
He was in the first Space Jam movie as just a fan in the crowd.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I remember seeing him in that too.
That's cool. That's cool. I also want to point out, though, that because they couldn't get Robin Williams at the time, he played the voice of the genie in Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, nice.
Yes, 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 he did. But
He
but
was
yeah,
the
he's
voice
most...
of Grandpa on Hey Arnold.
Oh, that's right. Huh. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
But anyways, not to linger on it too long, but I think it's pretty obvious that the answer to this one is probably going to be Homer Simpson.
Oh!
Yeah. Don't! Donut. So, yeah, that one's pretty, that one's pretty self-explanatory, but Arnold's grandpa, damn, I didn't realize that was him. He played a lot of characters in that show, actually. But, holy mother of Christ. Okay, on the same note, we also have to talk real quick about Hank, where the fuck did he go?
Hank Azaria?
Yes, Hank Azaria, who's also a famous Simpsons voice actor. Known for the voice of Moe, Sislak primarily.
Yes.
Hey, if you ain't gonna buy something, then get out of here. This ain't a charity. You know.
Right.
He's also the voice of Chief Wiggum and Carl and comic book guy. Best voice actor ever.
Okay.
And Lou and the Superintendent Skinner. So he's in Simpsons as basically a lot of characters. You know, and he played those same characters in the Family Guy crossover. And, he's Gargamel in the Smurfs, he's Gargamel in the Smurfs movie, like the live-action Smurf movie.
Yes, he was. He was also, oh, shit. Common Ra in, the Night at the Museum Battle of the Smithsonian.
Oh, nice. Okay. I'm gonna just kind of keep it limited to just The Simpsons, and I'm gonna ask what your favorite Simpsons character is that this guy has played. You got Moe, you got the police chief Wiggum, you got Carl. Like, hey, I'm Carl! You know, comic book guy, Lou, Superintendent Skinner's. What do you think?
I'd have to say... Carl.
I think I'm gonna go with Moe. Moe is just one of the most famous characters in that show. Like, you know, Moe is... So, real quick, I feel like we have to talk about now, just because he's part of our childhood. I know that he got in some trouble a while back for some inappropriate stuff, but I would be remiss not to mention such a voice that is, like, resonated throughout my childhood in several Kingdom Hearts games, and that would be Jim Cummings, who is known mostly for the voice of Pete in the Mickey Mouse stuff, but he's also... Go ahead.
He was also Winnie the Pooh.
Yes, yep, I knew you were gonna... Yep, that's where I was going with it. Winnie the Pooh and Tigger, too.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Pun intended. Yep,
He was Razul in Aladdin.
He was Baloo in The Jungle Book.
He sure
the original.
was.
Yes. He's the voice of the Tasmanian Devil in some more recent Looney Tunes stuff.
Uh-huh.
He was Fat Cat in Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, the original cartoon version and the new live-action version. Fat Cat being one of the main villains of that cartoon originally.
Okay.
Yep, and he was the voice of Darkwing Duck in that show.
Yes, he sure was.
The voice of Darkwing Duck, yes. Let's see.
He was Fuzzy Lumpkins in the Powerpuff Girls.
He definitely was. He absolutely was. He's played a bunch of... You can always recognize his normal voice is Pete. That's what his normal voice sounds like. So if you're ever playing a video game like Skyrim, for example, sometimes you'll walk up to a villager and they'll start talking to you like this. You know,
I
and
follow
that's how
him
you
on
know it's
TikTok.
him. So Jim Cummings has done a lot of side voices in games like Skyrim and stuff. Like I said, you just walk up to a random villager, they'll start talking, and sometimes it'll just be his voice, and you'll be like, "Hey, that sounds like Pete from Mickey Mouse." Well, that's because it is.
Right.
Yeah, you'll see him. He does a lot of these things, a lot. And he reprised all of those roles in Kingdom Hearts. Also, the three hyenas from The Lion King, Shenzi, Banzai, and Ed. He's Ed. The laughing one, that's him.
Okay. He was the narrator in Phineas and Ferb.
Yep. Yeah, you see the Elder Scroll. Anything with the Elder Scrolls, it's just a long list of voices, or it just says additional voices. You know.
He was cleric in Final Fantasy?
A cleric, I'm guessing.
Cleric
he played a few voices. Go ahead.
It was a cleric in Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13.
Oh, yeah. He was a voice of one of the church people, I remember.
Okay.
There are quite a few characters he's played, by the way, in Kingdom Hearts, in the Kingdom Hearts games. Besides Pete and Pooh and Tigger and Ed, he also plays the Cheshire Cat from the Alice in Wonderland world.
I did not know this.
Which I don't know if he played originally, but did start playing after the original voice actor died. He has several, and I mean several, side voices in Grand Theft Auto 5. You've probably heard him and not even realized it.
So I'm looking at the list of voices that he did in Grand Theft Auto 5 as we speak. He was Jeff Chartier, ammunition employee, Blaine County Sheriff, Bender's commercial announcer, and Sirius Cougar TV commercial.
Yep, so he did like voiceovers.
I had no idea he did voices in that game.
Although Jeff Chartier or whatever sounds like a important character to the story. I mean, seems like he's a story character.
I don't. The name doesn't ring a bell.
Maybe someone who gives you a quest or something. You know.
Probably, yeah.
Let's see. Yep. So he's been, of course, in all the Kingdom Hearts. He's in a lot of, like, fantasy RPG type games, you know, like Kingdoms of Amalur, the Elder Scrolls, stuff like that. He reprised his role of Fuzzy Lumpkins in the Kingdom Hearts, the Cartoon Network Punch Time.
Wow!
Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion fighting game.
Okay.
So
he was Ultra Lord in Planet Sheen.
Oh, there was a brutal shooter game called Splatterhouse in 2010 where this guy got possessed with a mask that made him, like, super violent, and the mask is called the Terror Mask, and Jim Cummings plays the voice of the mask in that game.
Okay.
Yep. He was also... There was a Spider-Man game called Shattered Dimensions for the PS3 that was really popular at the time, and it's really hard to find
He was Kraven the Hunter.
Possible. Yeah, he was that.
Kraven the Hunter,
he's been in games like
Noir Green
Mafia.
Goblin, Tinkerer, and Noir Boomerang.
Yep. So anyways, before we go too far on that one, who would be your favorite Jim Cummings character?
I'd have to say Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
For me, I think I'm going to go with, Pete. I think I'm going to go with Pete.
Okay.
Just regular old Pete. You know, he's just one of my favorite doofus villains, especially in the Kingdom Hearts games. So, I love when he showed up as Maleficent's sidekick. It's such a juxtaposition because she's such, like, an evil, like, scary, dark sorceress, and he's an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, it's so... I love it. I have to make sure we talk about Kevin Conroy.
Yes.
Let that not be a thing.
Yes.
And
after
of course,
Kevin Conroy, I have one.
He's the voice of Batman in the animated series, and in a lot of things. He played Batman in almost everything that had Batman in it until he passed away. Like, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, video games, animated series, movies. It doesn't matter. He was Batman in all this shit. Injustice, the Lego games, the Arkham series especially. You just scroll down his whole list, and it's just nothing but Batman, 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 back to back.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Pretty much.
And a lot of Batman. And a couple of Bruce Waynes. And some Thomas Waynes here and there. I forgot to mention, by the way, Troy Baker plays the voice of the Joker in Batman Arkham Origins and did a really good job.
Okay.
They had different voice actors in that one because it was a prequel and they were younger. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure Kevin Conroy got a special mention because even though the only thing he's basically played is Batman, he's done other things too, but his main thing has been Batman, and he was a fantastic Batman, and there is no replacing him, and I just wanted to make sure he got his due on this episode because that is
oh no, absolutely,
that is much deserved.
Rest in peace,
he's
Kevin
been in a few
Conroy.
other things, but yeah, he's played a few other characters too, but Batman is definitely the overwhelming majority on this list. So, yep. So that's that. Now, who did you have next?
Rob Paulson.
Okay.
He has done voices from our childhood, such as Pinky, Yakko, Wacko, from the Animaniacs, and Pinky and the Brain. Narf!
Oh, okay, he's that guy. Narf!
Narf!
Yeah, okay.
What are we gonna do today, Brian?
Very good. All right. Yeah, okay.
He
Pinky,
was, let's
Yakko.
see. He also...
Dr. Scratch and Sniff, too.
He was also Raphael in the more recent Nickelodeon Ninja Turtles animated series that they did on Nickelodeon. He was Raphael. He was also Carl from Jimmy Neutron.
Okay.
He also did Donatello for the the Ninja Turtles.
I see he did a few voices in the Powerpuff Girls.
Yes.
Oh, the newer one.
He was he was Rothschild in the video game Samurai Jack Battle Through Time.
Mm-hmm. He was Rothschild in the show Samurai Jack, too.
Okay. See, I didn't watch Samurai Jack, so I didn't... yeah.
Oh, man, I'm surprised. I have the whole Blu-ray collection for that. Samurai Jack is the show. That is a... I'll explain to you off the air why you need to watch that show. There are...
Okay.
There are certain rituals you might want to partake of ahead of time.
Gotcha, okay.
Let's see. Yeah, I'll put it to you this way. Samurai Jack is one of those... You know how I always talk about the golden rule of show, don't tell with storytelling? That Samurai Jack is the perfect example of that. There is very little dialogue in that show. There is dialogue, don't get me wrong. And sometimes there's a lot of it, but, 80% of the show is mostly, fight scenes and, it's very anime, but not quite anime. It's stylized to be anime-ish, but it's not actually anime. It's a very unique art style where if you pay attention, none of the characters or anything have outlines. It was all done, it was ahead of its time.
See, that much I did know about it. There was no outlines to the animation. It all blends together.
Yeah, and but it, not in a way that's confusing. You can still tell.
Right, exactly,
but, the basic premise of that show was that Samurai Jack was a samurai warrior in the past fighting an evil demon named Aku, who sent him into the future to prevent his own defeat, and he sent him into a future where, since Jack was gone for all these years, Aku now reigns supreme. And in the future, people have traveled from other planets and stuff and, assimilated on Earth. So in the future, there's there's a lot of aliens and robots and tall buildings and technology and stuff that this ancient samurai from the 1400s or whatever doesn't understand. And so then it's about him, like, learning to live in this world and trying to find a way back home. He's trying to find a way to travel back in time back home to where he's from to stop Aku and prevent this future from ever happening. And this goes on, this battle between Jack and Aku in finding a way home for about 4 or 5 seasons. And then it got canceled, and then later Adult Swim brought it back for a 6th season, and the 6th season, since it was Adult Swim, is a lot more violent than the original cartoon was. Mm-hmm. And I have the Blu-ray collection that has all the seasons on it, including the final one that Adult Swim did. And then that video game you mentioned is the end of the story. It takes place after the final season, and it's like it's canonical.
He was also Jacques and Grand Duke in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep.
Okay. Oh, I was going to say, by the way, you have a Roku TV, right?
Yes, I do.
So, you can get the Adult Swim app on a Roku TV. And on the Adult Swim app, which you don't have to have a cable login to use it. You do if you want to watch what's airing live on it. But if you open up the Adult Swim app for completely free, there are older episodes of their shows you can watch. But also, there are what they have called marathons. And when you pull it up, it'll give you a list of all their shows, including Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Robot Chicken, Rick and Morty, and Samurai Jack, and a few other things, Metalocalypse, Off the Air, and all that. Well, you choose one, you open it up, and basically what you get is a 24/7 live stream of all the episodes of that show back to back. And it'll just pop up whenever it's on, like wherever it's at, and when it's done playing all of them, it'll start over from the beginning. And so, if you want to check out some Samurai Jack at some point, it's actually really good to fall asleep to late at night because the animation looks like a moving painting and the music is very serene, and like I said, there's hardly any dialogue, so it's just a lot of characters staring each other down and then screaming loudly as they run at each other with swords, kind of shit, and it's really it's very serene, and some of the scenery is beautiful. So you get the Adult Swim app on your Roku TV, you pull up the marathon list, and other shows to your fancy too, but if you want to check out some Samurai Jack, you pull up that and, just wherever it's at, because that's a show that you can jump in at any episode and still enjoy it, because it's pretty easy to pick up and understand.
Right.
So,
I think it's on Max too.
Yeah, it probably is. You could watch it, from the beginning there. But sometimes I pull up the marathon of, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, because they're almost always playing older episodes. Mm-hmm. But that show did come back for a final season again recently, by the way. It was like a 6-episode mini-season. It wasn't very good. I can't lie.
Okay.
I don't know if I just outgrew the show, but then I watched the old episodes again, and I'm like, no, I still kind of like these. So it's just I get, the show just, the newer stuff, like the Plantasm movie, and then anything they've done after that has been pretty shit, honestly. Yeah. The last good episode they did was the one that they said was supposed to be the final one, so.
Okay.
Anyways. Yeah.
He was
more Rob Paulson.
Major Glory in Dexter's Laboratory.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. He was a parody of Captain America and Superman type characters, because that was the super justice heroes or whatever. It was Major Glory, and I remember one of them was the Infraggable Kronk.
Yes.
And then it was Van Halen. He was supposed to be like Thor, except he had a guitar, and he was a parody of Val Halen. I remember now.
Yes.
Yeah, and the Infraggable Kronk was a purple Hulk, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Major Glory. Wow, he played him. Okay.
It was Willy Walrus in the Woody Woodpecker cartoon.
Oh, he must have played him in one of them. Okay, I guess that Walrus has had a bunch of people play him then. Okay. So, oh, he was in a few episodes of The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Yes.
Okay. So Rob Paulson,
Yes.
what are we going for favorite on him?
I'd have to go. It's a toss-up between Yakko and Wacko and Pinky. It's a three-way tie between Yakko, Wacko, and Pinky. Narf!
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Yakko on that one, but Pinky's a pretty good option too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm gonna go with that one, I think. And speaking of the grim adventures of Billy and Mandy, I want to really quickly mention Richard Stephen Horvitz, who's the voice of Billy in that show, who's also the voice of Raz in Psychonauts, and the voice of Invader Zim on Cartoon Network, and Daggett from the Angry Beavers on Nickelodeon. I'm sorry, Invader Zim was also Nickelodeon. He also is the voice of Moxie in Hell of a Boss.
I was just gonna say Moxie.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah. So we talked about him a little bit, but I just wanted to bring that up again. I think he's done voices in like Crash Bandicoot and stuff like that, but I just wanted to make sure that he got a little bit of a mention. I really liked him as Billy in the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and on that same note, the voice of Grim, who is Greg Eagles, I'm just going through this real quick, has also been in a lot of shit, including several Metal Gear Solid games. Gray Fox, one of the villains in the franchise. He plays Jax in the Mortal Kombat games. He plays Aku Aku in the Crash Bandicoot games, the mask that makes you invincible. In those. Which, if you pay attention, the voice of Aku Aku sounds exactly like Grim from Billy and Mandy. Like, basically same voice.
Okay.
Yep, same guy. So, this, I'm just doing a quick rundown of a couple of people because I wanted to mention that. And then Mandy is played by Gray Griffin, who her voice I've heard in a lot of other things too. She also plays the voice of Catwoman in the Batman Arkham games. We're seeing a lot of crossover in this list of voice actors, by the way. Like, everybody, like, they've been in so much shit. She's also the voice of Monster Girl in Invincible and Shrinking Ray in Invincible, two of the main heroes. She was the voice of Martin in The Simpsons.
Okay.
Also the twins Sherry and Terry in The Simpsons as well.
Okay.
Yep, she's the voices of them. Lola in The Loud House. Her voice, Mandy's voice is pretty recognizable because they all sound like angry, like all of her characters sound like angry little girls for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, just wanted to make sure that she got a good mention too because she's been in a few things. Quite a few things.
Need to squeeze one person in because I will not hear the end of it if I don't. H. John Benjamin does voices like Bob Belcher from Bob's Burgers, Archer.
Yep.
From Sterling Archer from Archer. Let's see who else we got. He was Mayor Whitney Whitebottom in Central Park. It's an animated series on Apple TV Plus.
Okay. Yep. He also, did you mention Carl on Family Guy?
Oh, for Rob Paulson?
No, for John H. Benjamin. He played
Carl.
Carl on Family Guy. He plays him. Because they make jokes about it a lot too. He was the when Chris was working at a convenience store for a while, he was his boss there.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I forgot about that, to be honest.
Yeah, he still appears every so often, but not so much anymore.
Okay.
So I'm trying to rapid fire now because, I don't want to take too long, but I do want to mention Billy West who is the voice of Fry in Futurama.
Yes.
He also played the red M&M in those commercials. He's also the voices of Ren and Stimpy from Ren and Stimpy. As well, he played several voices in Disenchantment, which makes sense because, you know.
He was Bugs Bunny in Space
people.
Jam. The first Space Jam movie.
He was Bugs Bunny in the first Space Jam movie. Yes, he was. So just wanted to make sure he got a good shout out too, because you know you can't talk about voice actors without Billy West, and I think he might have actually played. Oh no, he's also in Samurai Jack. I was gonna say I thought he played a voice in Kingdom Hearts, but I'm actually thinking of Billy Zane.
Okay.
Billy Zane was in the first Kingdom Hearts as Ansem. Anyways, so, before we wrap up, I want to talk a little bit. I mean, there's so many more. Okay, yeah, since we talked about Futurama, let's throw out John DiMaggio real quick. He's the voice of Bender.
John DiMaggio.
He's the voice of Bender in that. He was also in your Transformers Rise of the Beasts movies as Transit.
He was also in Adventure Time.
As Jake the dog, yep. He's Heidegger in the Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth, one of the guys working for Shinra. He plays King Zog in Disenchantment.
Yes.
You know, and it gets really funny later when he starts honking all the time. He plays Uncle Arthur in the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh.
He was a few voices in the Animaniacs, a few voices in Paradise PD. Quite a few things. Duncanville, Interview with the Vampire. He was Marcus Phoenix in Gears of War, the video game franchise.
Okay.
He was in that. So, by the way, if I had to choose a personal favorite for this guy, it would be a toss-up between Jake the Dog and Bender from Futurama.
For me, it's hands down, no contest, Bender.
He also plays the bad guy mask in the Crash Bandicoot series, Uka Uka, and Tiny Tiger, one of the bosses you fight in several Crash games.
Okay.
As well. He also plays the voice of the Scotsman in Samurai Jack, which is one of a reoccurring character. He's a Scottish guy with a Gatling gun for a leg that Samurai Jack runs into a few times.
Okay.
And they start off as enemies and eventually become friends. And he's also a playable fighter in the Cartoon Network Smash Bros. Game.
Interesting.
Yep, so he plays the Scotsman in that. See, I'm giving you more and more reasons to watch Samurai Jack.
Yeah, you are.
Let's see. Yep, and he plays the Banana Guards in Adventure Time as well. But yeah, it's a toss-up between Bender and Jake the Dog for me. And also, very quickly, have to mention Jess Harnell, who is not a woman, by the way, contrary to the name. Jess Harnell is just his name. And also, I think you might have been misreading earlier, because Jess Harnell is the voice of Wacko in the Animaniacs. The other guy just plays Yakko.
Oh. Whoops.
But this is the voice of Wacko.
Okay.
In the Animaniacs. And on that same note, by the way, Tress MacNeille plays Dot, and we'll get to her in a second real quick, too. But, yeah, he also plays LeChuck in the Monkey Island games, the main villain.
Okay.
He plays the voice of Maui in Disney Dreamlight Valley, because I guess they couldn't get The Rock. For that.
Okay.
He plays a couple voices in Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, including Skid and Phantom. So, yeah, he's the voice of Skid in the Ratchet and Clank games, who's the skateboarder dude.
Okay.
He plays the voice of Crash Bandicoot in the newer Crash Bandicoot games, too. For those, I mean, Crash doesn't talk, but, you know, he goes like, wow! And stuff like that, so that he does that for him.
Yeah.
You know, did a couple of, he's the voice of Crash Bandicoot. He's done additional voices and stuff like Kingdom Hearts and stuff like that as well. But basically, Tress MacNeille, he's Wacko Warner and Crash Bandicoot. Those are his characters, for the most part. So on that same note, we talked about the Warner brothers, so we got to talk about the Warner sister Dot, and she's played by Tress MacNeille, who also, here's more crossover, plays voices in The Simpsons, including Principal Skinner's mother, Agnes. Skinner! You know? And he's like, yes, mother. You know?
Okay.
Yep, so she plays her. She plays the voice of Daisy Duck in the Mickey Mouse stuff. She plays Linda in Futurama. I can't remember who that is though.
Neither could
She
I.
plays Queen Una in Disenchantment, the Fish Lady Queen. Some voices in Rick and Morty, a few other things here. She played the voice of from Chip and Dale. She is Chip.
Okay.
I believe the voice of Chip, his high pitched voice, like in the original cartoons. So yeah, Daisy Duck, Chip from the Chip and Dale cartoons, which makes me think, who plays Dale? I forgot who plays Dale. Oh well. But yeah, so she's Chip, she's Daisy Duck, and she is Dot Warner. That's Tress McNeil. She's a bunch of other things too, but you know. So I fully intend on doing a continuation of this episode, a part 2, because there's a lot of voice actors to get through, and
yeah, there is.
So we will come back to this in another episode. Maybe not the next one. You know, I like to keep things spread out, but we will come back to this eventually. But before we go, I do want to throw out a couple of live-action actors who have done voice acting, you know, that have done some pretty big voices in that, and one of them has to be Mark Hamill's Joker. He is, hands down, probably, for my money, personally, the best Joker that we've ever gotten. I know a lot of people be like, nah, Heath Ledger is the best one, or Jack Nicholson is the best one. For me, it's Mark Hamill, period. No competition. Like, they're all good, but for me, it's Mark Hamill. He's also in that superhero show Invincible, which is on Amazon Prime, and since you like The Boys so much, I think you should watch Invincible, because it's basically an animated version of The Boys.
Okay.
Like, hands down.
I'll have to check it out.
It's violent, it's gritty, it's... Omni-Man, the main villain guy in it, he's played by J.K. Simmons.
Okay.
And Invincible is played by Stephen Yeun, who was Glenn on The Walking Dead.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in that. Sandra Oh is in it. Zazie Beetz is in it. Walton Goggins is in it. Jason Montezukas is in it, who we'll talk about him in the next time we do this, because he's got a lot of voices. Kevin Michael Richardson is in it. He's got a lot of voices, too. Zachary Quinto is in it. He's got a lot of voices, too. So, yeah, we'll be talking about some of those, but I highly recommend Invincible for you, because you like The Boys, and it's literally basically the same thing, but, like, animated.
Okay.
You know? And, like, I'll put it to you this way. There's an episode where Invincible and Omni-Man get into a fight with each other and basically murder half of Chicago in the process.
Jesus Christ.
And it does not shy away from the violence. It's animated, so it actually gets more violent than The Boys, because they can just draw it, you know?
Right, yeah.
You know, it gets nuts. It gets nuts. Like, the main villain of the show basically has an episode where they take down basically that world's version of the Justice League very violently.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think you would like Invincible. So, Invincible and Samurai Jack, that's my homework for you.
Okay.
Anyways, though, also, he played Chucky in the 2019 Child's Play.
Okay.
Mark Hamill played the voice of Chucky in the 2019 Child's Play. He's also reprised his role as the Joker on Robot Chicken, and he's also played a few other voices like Chuck E. Cheese and all that Robot Chicken. So I didn't know Mark Hamill was Chucky in the Child's Play remake, the 2019 one. Oh, also, he's the voice of Master Ericus in Kingdom Hearts 3 and Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, which, by the way, I have to mention, rest in peace, Leonard Nimoy, who played Spock in Star Trek, is the voice of Master Xehanort in Birth by Sleep, who's the main villain of the Kingdom Hearts franchise.
Yes.
He later gets replaced by the voice of Dr. Robotnik from the Sonic games, and then even later after that gets replaced by Christopher Lloyd. So,
yes.
Which Christopher Lloyd has done a lot of voices too. We'll talk about him next time. But also, besides Mark Hamill, the other live-action person who's done a lot of voice acting I want to throw out there is Liam Neeson, because he played Aslan in The Chronicles of Narnia.
Yes, he did. Robin Williams. Cannot forget Robin Williams.
And him as well, because he played the genie on Aladdin, of course.
Yes, he did.
Of course. I know we mentioned that Dan Castellaneta played him on Kingdom Hearts, but
Yeah.
and he did a damn good impression. I mean, it's obviously it's not Robin Williams, you can tell, but it's fucking close enough, man.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, you could tell it's Homer Simpson, like Homer Simpson doing the genie, but like still, whatever. It worked. He had genie energy.
There was,
So,
I want to say, he did the voice of Genie for the soundtrack Wishes for the fireworks show that they did at Walt Disney World.
okay.
For the fireworks, at the end of the night to close out the park.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not Robin Williams.
Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's like their go-to now for him, so.
Yeah.
All right, well, there you have it, folks. That is the wrap on our first part of talking about voice actors, but there's so many voice actors out there.
So
we barely
many.
scratched the surface. So we're going to do another one at some point,
There will be another one of these.
But for now,
man.
any closing thoughts?
Like I mentioned at the beginning of the topic, check out this documentary if you want to know all about voice acting. This is documentary. It's streaming on Peacock. It's called I Know That Voice, and it's really, really good, and it's definitely worth a watch.
Absolutely. And I'm actually gonna be giving that a watch myself because I haven't seen it yet.
It's
so I'll
really
definitely
good.
be checking it out. All right, folks. Well, let us know some of your favorite voice actors. Feel free to shoot an email to my new podcast email, and I believe that's podcastoversoul@gmail.com. Yes, just very simple. The word podcast and the word oversoul @gmail.com. But if you're watching on YouTube, you can just leave a comment in the comments down below.
Yes.
And I'll be sure to read that in the next episode. And also don't forget to click that like button because, algorithms and such. And also you can follow me on Twitter @Oversoul53.
You can find me on Twitter @TheVapingFiend and over on TikTok. Or however much longer we have TikTok. @TheVapingFiend.
Could be gone by the time this episode comes out.
You're not wrong.
Follow me on the thing that doesn't exist anymore. Yay!
Right, yeah.
So,
I'll be
all right, folks,
posting my videos over on the Twitter if TikTok gets banned in the United States.
Yes. Well, that's it for this episode, folks. And until next time, may the Force be with you.